A girl, upset that her social media post got no likes, chose to jump into the river. On the bank, a large black serpent was focused on breathing fire, its powerful aura ready to reach the peak of its serpentine life. Suddenly, with a loud splash, a small feminine body floated down the river. The unexpected sound startled the serpent, causing its aura to become unstable. Its breakthrough failed, and it suffered a backlash on the spot. Ling Yan groggily opened her eyes and saw a black serpent as thick as a water bucket staring at her with a pair of blood-red eyes. The next second, she fainted from fear. The great snake took her back to its cave. Sensing her weak aura, it coiled out a date-sized crystal, stuffing it into her mouth. The crystal dissolved into a warm current that flowed through her body, beginning to heal her injuries. After doing this, the serpent coiled up nearby, quietly watching over her. Ling Yan slowly regained consciousness, but still couldn't open her eyes or make a sound. Her body refused to obey. She felt a knot of dread in her stomach. Am I going to be a vegetable? Suddenly, she felt something soft brush against her face. Goosebumps erupted all over her body. The serpent was a bit confused. Didn't they say as long as there's a breath left, the crystal can save them? I've already fed her the equivalent of a contract. It looked at the last 2 precious 8-precept crystals it had left, hesitating whether to feed her another one. These were originally meant for its future mate. In the end, it didn't, turning and crawling out of the cave, not forgetting to roll a large stone to block the entrance. Ling Yan heard the fading noises and finally let out a sigh of relief, soon falling into a deep sleep. When she woke up again, she still couldn't open her eyes. A sweet fragrance suddenly filled her mouth. The taste was a bit like coconut milk and was quite delicious. The serpent saw her stomach swell and didn't feed her anymore, curling up nearby. Its life force had been violently interrupted, and its scales were cracking from the backlash. Yet, looking at the little female in its den, it didn't feel any regret. She's so cute. If only she could be my mate. Thinking this, it drifted off to sleep. After an unknown amount of time, the serpent suddenly noticed a change in the female's aura. It crept closer and found she was nearly frozen. It immediately pulled several animal skins from a corner and covered her. It then gathered a pile of dry branches and lit them with the thunderball it created. In her dream, Ling Yan felt like she was walking barefoot on a snowy field and was about to freeze to death. Suddenly, a fire and a thick blanket appeared at the same time, and warmth quickly enveloped her. The serpent, seeing that she was no longer shivering and her body temperature had returned to normal, finally felt a bit relieved. But the dual sun season was ending, and the nights would become even colder. She couldn't handle it now, so what would happen later? The serpent had already suppressed its advancement once and was at risk of advancing again at any time. If something happened to it, the little female wouldn't survive either. It seemed it needed to find a beast to take care of her. At this moment, Bai Xing, a hunter from the White Tiger tribe, sneezed. Is someone talking about me? The serpent continued to endure its injuries, sometimes feeding the fire, other times gently nudging her face. At night, with its excellent vision, it studied her carefully, thinking she was like a cute little cub. The animal skins she wore were unlike any it had seen, and her sudden appearance at the bottom of the river made her feel mysterious. As dawn approached, the serpent absorbed a few black stones. Under the surge of energy, its scales burst apart, and it transformed into a human. Normally, a male should not transform during advancement, as it can cause an energy riot, but it couldn't worry about that. If Ling Yan were awake now, she'd surely yell, "Wow, a human appeared!" He casually wiped the blood from his body and went to the pond for a bath. When he returned, he picked out a nice animal skin and made a few animal skin skirts. After they were done, he changed Ling Yan into them and then carefully hid her original clothes. Her origin was too strange. The fewer people who knew, the better. Ling Yan vaguely felt herself being stripped naked and instinctively wanted to scream, but found she still couldn't move. Well, I guess I'll continue being a vegetable today. She felt herself being lifted, and a familiar, milky liquid was poured into her mouth. She swallowed instinctively, and that warm current once again spread through her body. Manhwa saw that she was full and didn't feed her anymore. He carefully placed the 2 precious 8-precept crystals into her animal skin pocket. Seeing she still had no reaction, he whispered in her ear, "Don't forget me. My name is Manhwa." The sudden sound startled Ling Yan, making her scalp tingle, but she didn't understand what he said. The language was completely foreign. After speaking, Mo Huan turned back into a serpent, coiled around her, and left the cave. Ling Yan was completely dumbfounded. Was he going to abandon her? They were just communicating a moment ago, so why had he become cold and slimy again? What kind of creature was he? After leaving the cave, Mo Huan quickly swam towards the nearest tribe's hunting grounds. Although he shouldn't intrude on other beastmen's territory, he couldn't delay any longer. The crystals hadn't been enough. It was clear there was something wrong with her body, and she needed a witch doctor. She's so beautiful. Surely a beastman would be willing to take care of her. Even if I die during my advancement, she'll still live, Mo Huan thought as he went. After a long time, he finally stopped. Ling Yan felt herself being gently placed on something soft. The sun above scorched her. Suddenly, something bit her, a pain so unbearable she couldn't stand it. Mo Huan gently licked the blood from Ling Yan's ankle. He had to leave a traceable mark on her so he could find her in the future. Although he had decided last night to hand her over to the tribe, he was unwilling to let her go completely. He was determined to find her after he completed his transformation. Mo Huan placed a prepared animal skin bag next to Ling Yan, then twisted his snake body and quietly left. The scent of blood and the female's fragrance attracted over a dozen white tigers. They stopped running and transformed into their human forms. Their leader, Bai Hang, made a stop gesture, leading the other beastmen to observe Ling Yan from a distance. They didn't approach rashly because the air still held the aura of a high-level snake beast. What if it's a trap? Bai Hang frowned, deciding to be cautious first. Soon, he identified the familiar aura. It was Mo Huan after all. He felt a sense of relief and began to approach Ling Yan. Bai Hang's first glance fell upon the small female, her pale face and sleeping form shocking his heart. In that moment, his heart felt tightly clenched by something. This was the first time he wanted to go against his long-held beliefs, to have this little female, to stop waiting for the Beast Gods match. How is there a small female here? She's truly the most beautiful female I've ever seen. Did the snake beast bring her? Why isn't she moving? Ling Yan heard these hushed discussions. Strangely, she could understand them. It wasn't any language she'd heard before, yet she could comprehend it. She was a little shocked, and a realization dawned on her. She had probably transmigrated. Her heart beat faster. As a warm embrace lifted her, Ling Yan's toes wiggled slightly. These strong arms, these hard muscles. For a moment, she was in a daze, the kind of male god she'd only ever seen on TikTok. Bai Hang picked her up and instructed the other beastmen to grab the things on the ground and carefully escort her back to the tribe. Although Ling Yan was motionless, her mind was already composing an 800-word description of his physique. Finally, Bai Hang brought Ling Yan back to the White Tiger tribe. A beastman had already gone ahead to report the new female, and the chief and witch doctor were waiting in the square. Chief Bai Hang walking over with Ling Yan in his arms and couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. I thought you were waiting for a matched female to become your partner? Bai Hang, however, completely ignored his father's teasing and handed Ling Yan directly to the witch doctor. Witch doctor, please check on him. He's been sleeping since we found him. The witch doctor, Yang Yi, a young beastman, stepped forward and extended his hand. A pale green energy slowly entered Ling Yan's body and circulated. Ling Yan felt a tingling sensation, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't respond. She was extremely anxious. Chief Bai, he couldn't help but ask, Yang Yi, what's wrong? Why can't she wake up? Yang Yi withdrew his hand and said faintly, her body was severely injured and self-awakened, but without the blessing of the high priest's divine power, she fell into a deep sleep. Bai Hang anxiously interrupted, are the crystals useful? If they are, give them to her. With that, he handed over a few high-level crystals. On this continent, there are beastmen, wild beasts, and magical beasts. Hunting magical beasts can yield beast cores and crystals. Beast cores, which are usually black, are used by male beastmen to increase their strength. Crystals can not only extend a female's life and maintain their beauty, but also repair their bodies. Their colors are also very beautiful. Both magical beasts and beastmen are divided into 10 levels. Mid to high-level magical beasts usually have cores, but crystals are very rare, especially high-level ones, which have an extremely low production rate, not to mention the difficulty of hunting magical beasts. Bai. He looked at the high-level crystals in his son's hand and shook his head helplessly, thinking, this kid is really smitten. Yang Yi shook his head. She has already eaten high-level crystals. Her body doesn't lack energy. She's just temporarily trapped. It's a good thing you only gave her one. any more, and she would have exploded. Bai Hang wanted to explain that he hadn't given her the crystal, but this was clearly not the time. "Is there any other way, Chief Bai?" he asked. Yang Yi didn't speak, and the surrounding area fell silent. Many of the beastmen couldn't help but sigh. "This little female is so pitiful." Bai Hang clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palm. Could Mo Huan have left the little female for this reason? No, that can't be right. He said he was going to find his own matched female. And those 2 8-precept crystals are still with this little female. "The High Priest is here!" The beastmen gathered at the entrance, suddenly stirred and parted to make way. "I heard there's a sleeping female. Let me take a look," a gender-neutral voice said. A young man wearing a multicolored feather crown and a long robe walked in. Chief Bai he watched as he circled the little female 3 times, looking a bit impatient. "What did you find?" both Bai He and Yang Yi asked at the same time. Chi Yue rolled his eyes. "Of course I found something. She needs divine power. A female who can awaken on her own isn't simple." Ling Yan's heart pounded. "Without divine power and with all these unfamiliar languages, it seems I really have transmigrated." "We also figured that out," Bai He and Yang Yi said in unison. "Once awakened, you can't awaken a second time. But during a female's first matching, the goddess will bestow divine power," Chi Yue said faintly. "You mean to match her?" Bai, he asked. "It's not a bad idea." Yang Yi stroked his beard. "But she's in a deep sleep. Can it be done?" "Let's try it. It's a last resort. Otherwise, if she sleeps for a few more days, her energy will run out, and there will be no hope," Bai, he said in a deep voice. "Then I'll go prepare. The matching ceremony for this season will be tomorrow. Chief, remember to notify the other females who want to participate." He finished speaking and slowly left. "Bai." He looked at his son, who was still guarding the little cub. He said tentatively, "Since you brought her back, you'll be responsible for taking care of her until she wakes up. Aheng, have you thought this through? If you bring her back to the den, other females won't accept you, Bai," he reminded him. "I want to be her mate," Bai Hang said, picking up Ling Yan and following Bai He towards the den. "You know that only a matched mate can receive better comfort," Bai He sighed again. "I've thought it through." Bai Hang's tone was firm. Ling Yan's mind was spinning. Divine power? Matching? All these new terms. Bai Hang placed her in a soft grass nest, carefully cleaned her face and hands, and fed her some fruit juice and meat broth. Ling Yan tasted the familiar sweetness, and then was given a bowl of slightly bitter, fishy meat broth. After eating, Ling Yan, surrounded by warmth and the tingling sensation, once again fell into a deep, hazy sleep. Bai Hang returned to his beast form and crouched at the entrance of the den, blocking the night wind. Looking at Ling Yan's sleeping face, his heart felt full. He had never met a female who made his heart flutter like this. The first time he saw her, he wanted to be her mate and protect her. No one would ever hurt her. On the other side, Mo Huan was suffering from a lack of clarity due to the torment of his advancement. His mind was filled with the face of the little female. "I wonder if Bai Hang is taking care of her. If he dares to treat her badly, I'll definitely kill him." The next morning, Ling Yan felt herself being picked up again. Ugh! Another day of being delivered. Will I be like this forever? While she was lost in her thoughts, Bai Hang had already carried her to the sacrificial altar and placed her on the animal skin that had been laid out beforehand. The male beastmen waiting for the matching ceremony also arrived. The females waiting on the stage looked at their sleeping companion with curiosity and couldn't help but whisper, "Is that the little female who loves to sleep? The one Bai Hang brought?" Didn't Bai Hang say he only recognizes his matched female? "You're silly. That was just an excuse to reject Duo Ya." Duo Ya, the chubby female being talked about, flushed red and glared fiercely at the gossiping females, as well as Bai Hang in the distance. Although Ling Yan's eyes were closed, her head was throbbing from the whispers. Soon, the priest's chants began, and everyone fell silent. The matching ceremony had officially started. In this world, males are plentiful and females are few. Each female can have up to 6 mates. The higher a beastman's rank, the more violent factors they have in their bodies, and the more likely they are to lose control and become wild beasts during advancement and hunting. Females, however, can soothe these violent factors through daily interaction and mating. The soothing effect is even better with a matched female. Therefore, beastmen place great importance on matching with a female. Of course, beastmen who aren't matched can also become partners. but that kind of contract is not protected by the beast god like a matching contract is. If a female breaks a matching contract, her body will suffer a backlash, whereas these other contracts can be ended at any time without any consequences. In any type of contract, a male beastman who is abandoned will drop in rank, lose strength, and in severe cases, go into a berserk rage. This is why he did not approve of Bai Xing partnering with Ling Yan directly without waiting for a proper match. As the incantation ended, the giant beast god statue on the altar emitted a soft, glowing light that enveloped all the females on the stage. In the light, Ling Yan felt a powerful energy cleansing her body. Subconsciously, she seemed to have formed a soul connection with someone. Below the stage, Bai Xing clutched his burning chest, excitedly looking at the altar. It was him! The little female was his matched partner. He excitedly looked at his chest, where a miniature female portrait was gradually solidifying from a virtual image to a solid white one. Did the beast god hear my prayer? He wanted to transform into his beast form and let out a roar right then and there. At the same time, in a cave at the bottom of a cliff, the dying Mo Huan suddenly sensed the little female's aura. He abruptly opened his eyes, using the powerful energy to break through the 8th rank. It's her! My little female saved me! Mo Huan had thought he was surely going to die this time, but at the last minute, he had become her matched beast partner. How could he possibly die now? He transformed into his human form, touched the small pattern on his chest, and felt the familiar aura. After my body recovers this time, I'll go find her. Meanwhile, on the altar, the glowing lights on the other females gradually dissipated, and several white patterns appeared on their bodies. Only Ling Yan's glow lingered. Bai Xing was anxious but didn't dare to step forward, afraid of interrupting the ceremony. Everyone else was also curiously watching the little female on the altar. After all, the matching ceremony usually only takes a few moments, but she had been lying there for almost half a quarter of an hour. Ling Yan was also becoming increasingly annoyed by the fluctuating hot and cold burning sensation on her right arm. The burning sensation in other areas had quickly subsided, but this one spot was different. The energy that had finally gathered in her body was slowly dissipating. The high priest, sensing that something was wrong, decisively ended the ceremony. The lion head pattern on Ling Yan's right arm stopped in a half-solid, half-virtual state. Far away, in the Lion King city in the north, the already severely injured and unconscious golden lion suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, his aura weakening even further. Bai Xing of the tiger tribe fell for the girl at first sight, but she remained unconscious. The high priest, Qi Yue, arranged a matching ceremony, hoping to awaken her with divine power and the energy of her matched beasts. However, no matter what they did during the ceremony, the girl remained fast asleep. Bai Xing could only patiently take care of her for several days. With a crash, a large stone slipped from Bai Xing's hand and fell to the ground, splashing water. He was staring intently at the person in the straw nest in the cave, afraid that if he blinked, she would lie back down and stop moving. Ling Yan, enduring a full-body soreness, sat up. She was in a nest of dry grass, and as she was pondering her situation, she heard movement from the cave entrance. Ling Yan looked up and froze. The man had a strong physique and exuded a sense of power. In Bai Xing's eyes, the little female's big eyes were staring at him, as if she only had him in her sight. He was sure she was captivated by him. It wasn't until he came closer and knelt on one knee that Ling Yan snapped out of her daze, instinctively shrinking back. Bai Xing felt a moment of disappointment, thinking to himself that she might not like him. But he quickly recovered and said with a smile, "Don't be afraid, little female. I am your matched beast, the white tiger beastman, Bai Xing." Ling Yan recognized his voice as the one that had been taking care of her for the past few days, and her heart instantly relaxed. "Hello, my name is Ling Yan." "Ling Yan? That's a beautiful name," Bai Xing said, handing her a milky fruit. Ling Yan drank a few sips to moisten her throat and looked around. "Where is this?" Bai Xing thought the way she said his name was especially pleasing to the ear and paused for a second before answering. "This is the Beastman gathering place in the southern continent. We found you while we were hunting. You were unconscious. The witch doctor said you had awakened on your own but ran out of energy, which is why you fell asleep. So the high priest arranged a matching ceremony, hoping to wake you with divine power and the energy of your matched beasts." Ling Yan had actually heard what was going on while she was unconscious and had guessed most of it, but she patiently listened to him finish. "What is a matched beast?" she asked. Bai Xing was a little confused why she was asking this, but he patiently explained. Every adult female is guided by the beast god to be matched with 6 of the most suitable mates. Ling Yan couldn't help but complain internally. The beast god is so high-tech that it even helps with matchmaking? I woke up in a new world with 6 husbands. Can a female only have matched mates? What if I don't like them? Ling Yan asked cautiously. If you don't like them, you can choose a partner to live with, Bai Xing replied. But when male beastmen use their abilities too much, they'll generate violent factors in their bodies. Being around their matched female can soothe this, and the effect is best with a matched partner. Ling Yan nodded. So the essence of matching was for soothing. After we're matched, can I refuse them if I don't like them? She asked. Bai Xing's expression changed and his voice was dry. Yan Yan, are you not happy with me? No, I was just asking, she quickly explained. Bai Xing said in a low voice, a female can break a match by breaking the beast imprint, but the male will go crazy and might even die. Ling Yan saw the pain on his face and quickly changed the subject. I think I hit my head. I can't remember many things. It was a cliché move, but it worked. Bai Xing immediately looked at her head nervously. Does it hurt? Do you want the witch doctor to take another look? No, it doesn't hurt. I just forgot a lot of things, she replied. Bai Xing sighed in relief. It's okay, he said gently. You can ask me anything you want to know. Over the next period of time, Ling Yan got a general grasp of the situation. This was the Beastman continent, divided into 4 parts: north, east, south, and west. The north had year-round glaciers and snowy plains, the east had many high mountains, the west was humid, and next to the sea were plains and forests. They were currently in the southern continent. The seasons were like those on Earth, divided into 4. The rainy season, also called the single sun season, the prolonged season, the double sun season, the windy season, the double moon season, and the cold season, the single moon season. The length of a day was also longer than on Earth. There were also threats from beast tides, rogue beasts, and fallen beasts. Ling Yan sighed. It's not easy to live here. In order to survive, males would awaken elemental abilities like metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Adult females could also awaken abilities like spatial awareness, healing, and enhanced physical attributes. Females had no offensive capabilities and needed multiple mates to protect them. She was just an ordinary human. However, Ling Yan was not yet aware that her body had quietly become as tough as the local females through her awakening and matching. Bai Xing went to prepare some roasted meat. Ling Yan was still digesting the world's setting and couldn't help but wonder if she could really survive here. The tens of thousands of yuan she had saved up would probably be useless here. Forget it. What's done is done. I'll just treat it as a video game. Player Ling Yan was officially online. At this moment, Bai Heng walked over and led her to the bonfire at the cave entrance. You sit first. I'll roast some meat for you. Ling Yan watched him produce a large piece of meat out of thin air. Do you have spatial abilities? She asked curiously. Yes, males above the 3rd rank basically all have a space. It grows with their strength, Bai Xing replied. Does the food inside go bad? She asked. A male space is only for convenience while hunting. It doesn't preserve food. But a female who has awakened a space can preserve things. That's so cool! Ling Yan sighed, propping her chin on her hand. She couldn't help but wonder why she had also awakened an ability but felt nothing. As they talked, Bai Xing skillfully put a large piece of lean meat on the fire. Ling Yan was dumbfounded. Can that even cook? Sure enough, a moment later, Bai Xing handed her a piece of roasted meat the size of a basin that was burnt on the outside and raw in the middle, still dripping with blood. Ling Yan was speechless, and Bai Xing was a little nervous, thinking to himself that this was the first time he had roasted meat, and he hoped she wouldn't dislike it. Ling Yan decided to put aside her reservations and go with the flow. Since he was already her mate, she might as well make good use of him. Why should I suffer? Soon, under Ling Yan's guidance, fresh meat skewers were made. Although the taste was average, Ling Yan didn't care. She was truly starving after only drinking water for days. The food transformed into a surge of energy, warming her whole body and dispelling the weakness she had felt since waking up. Full and satisfied, Ling Yan sat slumped in the grass nest, watching the handsome man eat meat while she thought. Since she had transmigrated, her top priority was to survive. This place was like a primeval forest, full of terrifying beasts. Ling Yan quickly came to terms with reality. Trying to survive on her own was a pipe dream. She immediately lowered her head and looked for the beast imprints on her body. The white tiger imprint on her right chest was definitely Bai Xing's. On her left shoulder was a spreading eagle wing, and its aura was sharp. Next to her navel was a fox with a big, fluffy tail. On her inner thigh was a howling wolf. On her right wrist was a snake coiled, its half-lidded eyes unexpectedly beautiful. And the lion pattern on her right arm was different from the others, half solid and half virtual, as if it could solidify at any moment or fade away. Ling Yan realized that except for the lion imprint, she could faintly sense the emotions of the other mates corresponding to the imprints. She asked Bai Xing about it, but he intentionally changed the subject. Ling Yan didn't push it, knowing that she would find out eventually. She then remembered a big issue. "I need to take a bath." She felt grimy all over. Although Bai Xing had cleaned her, Ling Yan still felt like she stunk. This is where the advantage of a fire elemental mate came in. Bai Xing moved a large stone basin, filled it with water, and then released his ability, and the water quickly began to steam. He also handed her an olive-sized fruit, telling her to chew it up and spit it out to clean her mouth, and that she could rub it on her hands to make bubbles. Ling Yan tried it, and her mouth felt cool and surprisingly fresh. She thought, "Natural toothpaste is so good. No wonder Baiheng has such white teeth." After she was clean, Baiheng came in, his face flushed, to clean up the basin. Ling Yan found it amusing. What a pure little beast. If she knew that beastmen's senses were so sharp they could clearly perceive her every move while she bathed, she probably wouldn't be laughing. Baiheng's fingertips ran through her long hair, and all the moisture instantly evaporated. Ling Yan thought, this is so much better than a hairdryer. Once everything was tidied up, Ling Yan lay down in the animal skin nest and stretched comfortably. Just as she was about to go to sleep, she saw Bai Xing walk to the cave entrance to transform into his beast form and patrol for the night. "Bai Xing," she said, "did you take a bath?" Bai Xing froze, his face instantly turning crimson. "Yes, I did." Ling Yan patted the spot next to her. "Come and lie down here for a bit." Bai Xing hesitated for a moment, but then walked over and obediently lay down beside her. By the time Bai Xing came back from his patrol, the little female in his arms was already fast asleep. Over the next few days, Ling Yan and Bai Xing's relationship slowly became more harmonious. She knew in her heart that if it weren't for this beast man, she probably would have starved to death. With Bai Xing's meticulous care, Ling Yan unconsciously let down her guard. For the first time, she experienced the so-called love. The two were like a couple in the honeymoon phase. Even just a glance at each other made the atmosphere sweet. Ling Yan also gradually adapted to her new life in this world. In the morning, Bai Xing left for a hunt after giving her a long kiss. Ling Yan rolled over and went back to sleep, but Bai Xing left with a worried expression. Ling Yan only had him as a mate, so he could only hunt near the tribe. The variety of prey nearby was too limited. At first, he joyfully brought back all sorts of large game, but Ling Yan either couldn't chew it or just spat it out. Later, he had to bring back the prey that the young cubs would practice on. Ling Yan ate a little more, but it was still only a little. Ling Yan could tell that Bai Xing was powerful, but he became incredibly nervous around her. He never wanted to leave her alone for too long, always hunting quickly and returning just as fast. But Bai Xing hated his own incompetence, hating that he couldn't even feed his mate properly. It wasn't so much a generation gap as it was a gap between two worlds. In Ling Yan's world, a woman who depended on a man had no say, so she still held that mentality. But in the Beastman world, it was a male's nature to provide for a female, and males would obey all of a female's needs. A female's rejection was the real hurt. Ling Yan didn't understand the constraints the beast imprint had on males, so she didn't realize how much her concessions hurt Bai Xing. Ling Yan was deep in thought when a small red fruit was suddenly stuffed into her mouth. She instinctively bit into it, and a sweet and sour flavor exploded in her mouth. "Ah, Heng, this is delicious." Ling Yan's eyes lit up. Bai Xing held up a large handful of clean red fruits. "The milky fruit is gone for the windy season. These red fruits are ripe these days. If you like them, I'll pick more." "If you pick too many, they'll spoil," Ling Yan said, once again feeling envious of the females with spatial abilities. How much delicious food must they have stored? Bai Xing noticed her thoughts and patiently explained, A female's space can't grow. The amount of stuff it can hold is very limited. Ling Yan felt a little better. Just as she was about to feed him a red fruit, a message suddenly popped up in her mind. Edible. Tastes sweet and sour. Ling Yan froze for a moment. She immediately got up and went to the cave entrance, pulling up a handful of weeds. Not recommended for consumption. She then pulled up a small mushroom. Edible. Tastes delicious. Ling Yan felt like she had discovered a new world. She excitedly touched every plant near the den. Her eyes were a little red with excitement. Finally, a golden cheat for a transmigrator. She could sense whether a plant was edible and even get a general idea of its taste. Bai Xing never stopped her, instead silently protecting her, afraid she would fall. It wasn't until Ling Yan looked at him, with her eyes shining, that he finally asked, Yan Yan, what did you find? I think I can tell which plants are edible. This must be my awakened ability, Ling Yan said, her eyes shining with excitement. Bai Xing nodded, playing along. Yes, females usually only awaken physical enhancements or fertility. It's very rare for one to awaken sensory abilities like yours. Bai Xing looked at the excited little female with a doting expression. Yan Yan, you're amazing! He was giving her full emotional support. The temperature was starting to drop, and Bai Xing had been frantically hunting for the past few days to stockpile food for the cold season. Ling Yan noticed this and felt even more hesitant to ask him to take her on a walk. This was the downside of only having one mate. You had to choose between romance and starving. However, with her cheat ability now in hand, Ling Yan's confidence soared. I have to go out tomorrow. I need to prepare for the long winter. There's no way I can't find some edible vegetables and fruits. Bai Xing hesitated. He was the tribe's strongest 7th-rank beastman, so he wasn't afraid of wild beasts in a fight, but what if they encountered rogue or fallen beasts? But seeing Ling Yan's sparkling eyes, Bai Xing swallowed his refusal. If there's real danger, I'll just run away with my little female. Finally, Bai Xing gave in. Tomorrow, I'll take you to the place where we pick red fruits. It's in the canyon behind the tribe, where there are few beasts. Beastmen also patrol there, and the females of the tribe often go there. Ling Yan immediately agreed. She couldn't wait to show off her newfound ability. Looking at the constantly cheerful little female, Bai Xing couldn't help but smile tenderly. He loved her lively and vibrant nature, but he also worried. While he enjoyed their time alone, he was afraid that if the other mates didn't show up, he wouldn't be able to provide for her by himself. Early the next morning, Ling Yan woke up with great energy, ready to head out. After walking for almost half an hour from the den, Ling Yan had sensed many plants, but only a few were edible. She was a little discouraged. Seeing her deflated, Bai Xing quickly said, We're still close to the tribe. All the edible things have already been picked. Let's go a little farther out. Ling Yan also realized that while her ability was useful, the beastmen weren't fools, and she wouldn't be able to find any good things so close to the tribe. Seeing her spirits lift, Bai Xing quickened his pace toward the back mountain. Meanwhile, Duo Ya, who was playing with her mates outside, also saw them and immediately told her mates to follow. Soon, the two of them had reached a giant red tree. From a distance, it looked like it was covered in red flowers, but up close, it was densely packed with red fruits. Ling Yan was stunned. Did this tomato come to life? Yan Yan, there's no danger here. You wait here. I'm going to pick some red fruits before other beasts get to them. Before he finished speaking, he had already scampered up a tree over a dozen meters high. Okay, Ling Yan watched his lively movements and didn't stop him. She looked around, casually pulling a few leaves and branches. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew by, and a strong, pungent smell filled her nose. Onion! Ling Yan's eyes lit up. She followed the scent and, sure enough, found several massive stalks of what looked like green onions, standing proudly behind a large rock. Ling Yan's heart swelled. My goodness, this is a rebirth of the Zhangqiu onion. She went up and touched one. The prompt read, edible, pungent taste. Pungent? The scent was twice as strong as a modern green onion, so she supposed it made sense. Yan Yan, stop playing with this stinky grass. Come eat some red fruits. Bai Xing had climbed down the tree without her noticing and was now standing behind her. Stinky grass? She pointed to one of the smaller, less robust-looking stalks. Ah, Heng, I want this one. It's edible. Bai Xing was skeptical. Okay. He reluctantly walked over and easily pulled out the stalk, his eyes questioning if she wanted more. Ling Yan shook her head, thinking that without dipping sauce, she couldn't eat too many green onions anyway. With the onions safely in hand, Ling Yan's confidence was fully ignited. If she could find onions, other seasonings must be around too. Soon, she found a plant that looked like fennel. She excitedly touched it. The next second, the words, "not recommended for consumption," "has a slight numbing effect," appeared in her mind. Ling Yan broke out in a cold sweat. She had almost tasted it. She quickly threw away the numbing grass. Just as she turned around, she tripped over something and nearly fell face first. Ling Yan patted her chest and looked at the culprit, a piece of a root with some skin scraped off, revealing a yellow interior that looked exactly like ginger. She touched it, and the prompt read, "Edible, spicy, can dispel cold and induce sweating." Ling Yan's eyes lit up. She immediately asked Bai Xing to help her dig up the ginger. Bai Xing, in his beast form, used his powerful claws to easily tear into the ground. It was like he was demolishing the garden. The motions looked more like a house being torn apart than a plant being dug up, and Ling Yan had to try her best not to laugh. But when he finally unearthed the half-person-tall, bucket-thick ginger, she was completely frozen. "Fine. Big ginger it is." Ling Yan pulled Bai Xing along, proudly marching toward a nearby river. Today, she was a woman with onions and ginger, and she had to have the freshest grilled fish. Bai Xing was a little hesitant. "Yan, are you sure you want to eat the thornfish? That thing is bitter, has little meat, and gets stuck in your throat. I heard some beastmen even met the beast god after eating it." Ling Yan interrupted him. "We eat this all the time in my tribe. Don't worry, it's very safe." Bai Xing didn't try to convince her otherwise, but he was more certain than ever that his little female had a secret. He didn't care, though. He only wanted to protect her and be with her. He settled Ling Yan down and leaped into the water. In a short time, 7 or 8 half-meter-long fish were piled on the bank. Ling Yan was impressed. Cat beasts are great at catching fish, and a big cat is no exception. She proceeded to squeeze the onion and ginger juice and spread it evenly over the fish to remove the fishy smell and add fragrance. The smell alone was making her mouth water. Bai Xing expertly started a fire and began to grill the fish. A powerful aroma soon filled the air. Ling Yan licked her lips, waiting for the fish to be done. Bai Xing even deboned a piece for her. "Eat slowly. Don't choke on a bone." Just as Ling Yan took the piece and was about to take a bite, a sharp voice from behind yelled, "Stop!" She flinched and looked back to see a chubby girl walking toward them with a few male beastmen, glaring fiercely at Bai Xing. Duo Ya, a chubby teenage girl, and the great priest of the tiger tribe, was often called Qi Yue. One day, the chief's son, Bai Heng, fell for a girl who was in a coma. To help his quote-unquote in-laws plan to awaken, Qi Yue arranged a matching ceremony, hoping to wake her up with divine power and the energy of her matched beasts. It was unclear if it actually worked, but a few days later, the girl really did wake up. "Hello, my name is Ling Yan." Back to the story. The girl was happily about to eat grilled fish by the river, with Bai Xing when a shout from behind made her jump. Ling Yan turned to see a chubby girl and a few males walking toward them, glaring fiercely at Bai Xing. Bai Xing instinctively shielded Ling Yan behind him. "Eat your food. Don't mind her." "You can't eat that," the girl snapped. "A mighty 7th-rank beastman, and this is how you take care of your female? How dare you feed her thornfish?" Ling Yan was confused. "Will eating this fish kill me?" The girl looked at her as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Quote, "A female who eats thornfish isn't far from meeting the beast god." Ling Yan realized that the girl was upset with Bai Xing for not taking good care of her and was here to stand up for her. Before she could speak, Bai Xing's expression had turned cold. Ling Yan stopped him and, with a smile, handed the fish in her hand to the girl. "This isn't thornfish. This is how we eat it in my hometown. It's very safe. Would you like to try?" The girl sniffed at the strong aroma, and her serious expression broke. "It smells so good. Fine, I'll have a taste." The 2 teenage girls ate the grilled fish, their faces full of satisfaction. After a few bites, they finally started chatting. "I used to really like Bai Xing, but I didn't get matched with him," Duo Ya said out of the blue. The air went silent for a moment. Bai Xing was slightly tense, afraid Ling Yan would get the wrong idea. After all, females usually couldn't accept a beast man who had been involved with other females. Duo Ya's 3 mates all looked at her. Duo Ya rolled her eyes. "Why are you looking at me?" "I said used to." She then laughed heartily. In that moment, Ling Yan genuinely started to like this open and honest female. She was a little sassy, but she wasn't a bad person. Duo Ya smiled. "By the way, Ling Yan, can you teach me about your stinky grass? I want to make fish this delicious too." "Sure, I'll teach you. You can use both of these plants when you're making roasted meat." Ling Yan replied. "I can't believe stinky grass is so useful." Yan, you're amazing!" Duo Ya suddenly exclaimed. "Oh my god, Ling Yan, a beautiful female like you was actually rejected by a mate." Duo Ya's mate Xiao Yu quickly interrupted her. Ling Yan followed their gaze to the beast imprint on her arm and suddenly understood. So this imprint is a symbol of a rejected match. No wonder Bai Heng was so hesitant when I asked him about it. Duo Ya also realized she had spoken out of turn, and her face turned slightly red. "I'm sorry, Ling Yan, I didn't mean it." Ling Yan looked at her and felt a sense of relief. "It's okay. I thought matching was mandatory, so males can reject it too." Bai Xing felt a little guilty. "I didn't make that clear to you." "It's all right," Ling Yan said with a small smile, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. It turned out that the matching power wasn't a permanent bond after all. Seeing that Ling Yan really wasn't upset, Duo Ya also felt relieved and actively moved closer. "Then, Ling Yan, can I call you Yan Yan?" "Of course." "Then we're friends," Ling Yan smiled back. The two of them sat by the river and talked for a long time, only gathering their things to head back when the two suns set. Their several male mates protected them, and their long silhouettes stretched out in the sunset, radiating an indescribable sense of comfort and warmth. Back at the den, Ling Yan looked at the scratches on her feet and frowned. She couldn't keep walking around barefoot. She gestured with her hands and said, "Ah, Heng, I want some animal skin shoes to wear on my feet." "I'll try to make some," Bai Xing said sincerely. With that, the two of them engaged in a secret, intimate, hour-long session. Happy times always passed quickly. After their passionate moment, Ling Yan quickly fell into a deep sleep. Bai Xing gently set her down and quietly got up to work in the cave. The subtle sounds of animal skin being stretched and the flickering firelight kept him busy all night. At dawn the next day, Ling Yan was woken by the smell of roasted meat. She groggily got out of bed, but her eyes were drawn to the 2 pairs of shoes on the ground. One was a complete pair of casual shoes, and the other was a scholarly-style pair of strappy sandals. The insides were meticulously polished and smooth, preventing any possibility of chafing. 1 pair for home, 1 pair for going out. Bai Xing's thoughtfulness was evident in every detail. Ling Yan's eyes were a little misty as she touched the shoes. She had only mentioned it in passing last night, but he not only remembered but also went above and beyond her expectations. In her modern life, she was used to being independent and didn't want to trouble anyone for fear of owing them. But with Bai Xing, she had let down all her guard. In their time together, Bai Xing had always responded to her requests. She said she wanted to take a bath, and after that, the bath water was always ready for her every day. Ling Yan thought this was probably the reason why she was slowly able to integrate into beastman life. Otherwise, an ordinary girl from a peaceful era wouldn't find it so easy to adapt to this place. As she was lost in her thoughts, Bai Xing came in with a bowl of meat soup. Ling Yan took a sniff and her eyes lit up. "Why does the soup smell so good today?" Bai Xing's eyes were soft and the corners of his mouth were slightly turned up. "I marinated the meat the way you told me to." Ling Yan felt like she had found a hidden gem in the beastman world. Not only was he handsome, but he could also learn and adapt, unlike the other beastman who seemed so simple-minded. Just then, a beast roar came from outside. Bai Xing explained softly, "There's a beast attack on the outskirts of the tribe. The patrolling beastmen will handle it. Don't be afraid." Ling Yan shook her head, indicating she wasn't scared. But the roars outside didn't lessen. They grew louder and more intense. Bai Xing's brow furrowed, unable to fully relax. "I'll go take a look. I'll be back soon." Ling Yan grabbed his hand, her eyes full of worry. Bai Xing patted her hand reassuringly and turned to leave the cave, but Ling Yan grew increasingly uneasy. The snake imprint on her hands suddenly started to feel hot. She instinctively called out to Bai Heng. Heng, I'm coming with you." Bai Xing frowned slightly. No, you stay here. It's not safe outside. Ling Yan raised her hand, pointing to the beast imprint, and her voice was low. I can feel it. I think he's here. Ever since the matching ceremony, Ling Yan had suspected that the pair of blood-red eyes from that day by the river belonged to the snake beast that saved her. She had also kept the 2 beast crystals in her animal skin pouch, feeling that she had to thank him for saving her life in person. Hearing what Ling Yan said, Bai Xing quickly went out of the cave with her. The moment Ling Yan appeared, Mo Huan's eyes were locked on her, a gaze so tender it seemed to drip with water, a stark contrast to the fierce beast he had just been. Mo Huan's heart was also heavy. He had rushed over as soon as his rank was stable, but he didn't see his mate, only a bunch of tigers surrounding the entrance. The tigers were also distressed. A rank 8 snake beast was standing at their entrance without saying a word, and they knew they couldn't handle him. How could they not be nervous? Ling Yan looked at Mo Huan, and the air seemed to freeze. An invisible current seemed to flow between them. Bai Xing sensed the strange atmosphere and let go of Ling Yan. Ling Yan mustered her courage and walked closer, her heart inexplicably pounding. You were the one who saved me that day? She asked, looking up at him. Mo Huan's Adam's apple bobbed up and down, and he said in a low, serious voice, It was I, this snake. Ling Yan smiled, a smile as warm as a spring sun. Thank you. And here are these 2 beast crystals. She took out the crystals and handed them to him, but Mo Huan took her hand instead, his gaze intense. What's given to you is yours. You are already my partner. Bai Xing cleared his throat, interrupting the 2. Let's go back to the den and talk. The surrounding beastmen were dumbfounded. This is not going well. This little female is something else, matching with all high-rank beasts. They all dispersed. It's all one big family now. And Mo Huan followed closely behind, his gaze fixed on Ling Yan. He saw she was much healthier than the first time he saw her. The beast man was taking good care of her. Ling Yan's cheeks flushed under his intense stare, and she found a random topic to talk about. My name is Ling Yan. Mo Huan, he replied. Fearing he sounded too cold, he added, I am an 8th rank snake beast. I have no parents, and I've saved up a lot of gold. I can take good care of you. Ling Yan burst out laughing. Isn't this just the beastman version of has a house, has savings, and is an orphan, she said. I know your name. You told me not to forget it, she said with a smile. So why are you only coming to find me now? After I left you, I went to advance. I only dared to come after my energy was stable. Mo Huan replied concisely. Bai Xing was a little confused. A beastman who advances naturally should have a smooth breakthrough once their energy is sufficient. There was no such thing as being unstable unless the process was interrupted or something went wrong. Bai Xing picked up Ling Yan and walked for a long time. Ling Yan, leaning against his chest, felt a wave of sleepiness wash over her. By the time they returned to the den, she was fast asleep. 2 massive beasts stood guard on either side of the straw nest, powerful and gentle, like 2 dragons protecting their treasure. Perhaps she was exhausted from the previous night, but she slept until noon the next day. Ling Yan opened her eyes, surprised to find she was full of energy. She noticed that the white tiger imprint on her body was no longer a rigid pattern. It was closer to the color of Bai Xing's beast form, and even had black stripes, making it look like it had upgraded. Bai Xing walked in and saw her staring at the beast imprint with a silly smile. He couldn't resist teasing her. Does it look good? It does. I didn't know it could change, Ling Yan said with a wide smile. Bai Xing patiently explained. After a partnership is formed, the beast imprint becomes more like the mate's beast form, and the female's physique will also be enhanced, or they'll gain some racial abilities. Ling Yan flexed her small fists. No wonder I feel stronger, Bai Xing said in a serious tone. Then this powerful Yan Yan should get up and eat. After eating, Ling Yan noticed that Bai Xing hadn't gone hunting, which she found strange. Aren't you going hunting today? Mo Huan went. Bai Xing replied gently. Ling Yan was stunned. No wonder I felt like I forgot something, she thought. I found a mate yesterday and completely forgot about him. She burst out laughing. I knew it! I was wondering why I didn't see him. Bai Xing didn't expose her. After Mo Huan gets back, let's go to the chief. The commotion yesterday was too big. We should go and talk to him. Ling Yan suddenly remembered the chaos from the day before and asked, why did everyone react so strongly when Mo Huan arrived? When other females' mates came, everyone was so welcoming. Bai Xing pondered for a moment before patiently explaining. Cold-blooded beastmen are not very popular. Some of them like to forcibly take females. After the female gives birth, they hibernate and don't take care of her. Most of the females can't survive the cold season. Ling Yan was shocked. There are things like that? That's so irresponsible, Bai Xing nodded. And cold-blooded beastmen are moody, irritable, and quick to anger. They often hurt others, so females are very afraid of them. Ling Yan frowned. But Mo Huan isn't like that. He saved me and brought me to the tribe. Bai Xing smiled. Not all cold-blooded beastmen are bad beasts. Mo Huan is a good one. Ah, Fook and I have known him for a long time, but you still need to be cautious. There are even worse things here, like fallen beasts. If you encounter one, you won't even have a chance to survive. Seeing Ling Yan's serious expression, Bai Xing decided not to go into detail about the fallen beasts, afraid of scaring her. Outside the den, Mo Huan was listening to their conversation, his heart in his throat. She knows about cold-blooded beastmen. Will she still want me? Mo Huan's mind drifted back in time. His birth mother was a female who was stolen by a male. Because of his possessiveness, he forcefully took her away from her other mates and forced her to have him. Unfortunately, the male wasn't strong enough. He couldn't protect her and could only watch as his mother was humiliated and killed by other rogue beasts. He never forgot what his mother said before she died. Don't be like that male. He kept his word. He grew strong and personally killed the group of beasts, but his mother was gone forever. He never thought he would have a female, let alone a matched one. Just when he thought he would live a lonely life, Ling Yan suddenly stumbled into his world. When he left her, he bid her to leave a tracking mark, thinking he would just watch from a distance. He never expected that the beast god would actually match him with her. Ling Yan had accepted him, but what if that acceptance was because she didn't know the true meaning of cold-blooded beastmen? Bai Hong gestured for Ling Yan to look outside. Ling Yan was mortified. Oh no, he heard me talking about him behind his back. As she was struggling with her embarrassment, she looked up and saw Mo Huan at the cave entrance. He exuded a cold, lonely aura, as if his soul had been sucked out. Ling Yan's heart ached. She ignored her shyness and ran out, wrapping her arms tightly around Mo Huan. Big Snake, where are you going? Mo Huan looked down at the arms wrapped around his waist, his eyes filled with disbelief. Ling Yan smiled, her eyes shining with seriousness. I don't care that you're a cold-blooded beast man. I only care that you are Mo Huan. You saved me. Mo Huan hugged her tightly, his throat constricted, as if he was holding the whole world in his arms. The shadow finally dispersed. He was no longer a rogue beastman. He had a home. Ahem, ahem. Bai Xing's untimely interruption broke the tender moment. Mo Huan glared fiercely at Bai Xing. Ling Yan was so embarrassed she wanted to die. She had just confessed her feelings to one husband in front of another. Bai Xing, what are you doing? She said. Quote, let's hurry to the square. The hunting team is gathering today, so there are a lot of people. It's a good time to introduce Mo Huan to everyone so no one tries to cause trouble. When they arrived at the square, the chief was arranging the hunting team, and many beastmen were gathered around. Dozens of strong men saw Mo Huan and were all intimidated by the pressure of the 8th-ranked beastmen. They were tense and staring at him. Mo Huan didn't care. All these beasts combined weren't a match for him. As long as his little female didn't despise him, he had a home. Ling Yan felt the subtle rejection and instinctively held Mo Huan's hand tighter, showing her support. The chief was surprisingly calm. He had already made up his mind. This snake beast is a loner who never causes trouble and even saved my son's life during the cold season's beast tide. Now that he's my daughter-in-law's husband, he's one of us. Ah, Fu, we're here, Bai Xing said. Hello, Chief. My name is Ling Yan, she added. Good, good, good. Welcome, the chief said happily. The other beastmen also let out a few shouts of welcome. A younger tiger beastman whispered, he's a cold-blooded beast man. This female is not picky. The beastman next to him ignored him. This is a rank 8 beast. I'd be happy to have him as a mate too. After a long while, the hunting team dispersed. The chief looked at Ling Yan. Now that you've accepted him, form your partnership as soon as possible to avoid any further trouble. Ling Yan immediately understood. Only by forming a partnership would the tribal beasts completely let down their guard. The scene was similar to a modern father-in-law, urging his son-in-law to settle down. At this moment, the chief's demeanor changed completely. He threw a fireball at Bai Xing's butt. You brat! You formed a partnership and you don't even tell your mother? Bai Xing nimbly dodged the fireball and quickly said, we just formed it yesterday. The chief was even angrier. You matched more than 10 days ago and only just formed a partnership? You must be so useless. His scolding grew louder. Back at the den, the two males were busy processing the prey. They set aside Ling Yan's favorite parts and made the rest into jerky. Ling Yan, bored, took a nap. When she woke up, the sky was dark, and she saw Mo Huan guarding her. She smiled. Big Snake, I'm hungry. In a moment, Mo Huan brought her grilled meat and vegetable porridge. Quote, Where's Bai Xing? It's so late, Ling Yan asked, confused. He was usually so diligent. He went to see his mother, Mo Huan replied. Ling Yan immediately understood. The chief had pressured them to form a partnership, and Bai Xing was likely being scolded for it. After her bath, Mo Huan sat down next to Ling Yan, getting closer and closer. Ling Yan swallowed hard. Mo Huan said in a low voice, If Yan Yan doesn't want to. Before he could finish, Ling Yan had already kissed him. Such a handsome mate can't be wasted, she thought. Ling Yan was getting into it, and Mo Huan instantly lost control. But then, Ling Yan's mind started to wander. I just formed a partnership with Bai Xing last night, and tonight, I'm with Mo Huan. The sense of guilt and excitement was intoxicating. Then a strange sensation shot through her calves. Of course, a snake is cold everywhere was her last thought before she passed out. Mo Huan noticed she was exhausted, and his heart softened. Even though his desire was overwhelming, he held himself back. He looked down at the beast imprint on Ling Yan's wrist, his eyes gentle. He was hers now, and they had a long life ahead of them. Ling Yan was sleeping like a cat in the sun, exuding an air of contentment. She let out a contented hum and was completely out cold. When Bai Xing entered the den and saw Mo Huan, the slight pang of jealousy he felt dissipated. As long as Yan Yan was happy, that's all that mattered. After the girl transmigrated to the Beastman world, she was arranged for a matching ceremony by the great priest of the tiger tribe, who was actually a man named Qi Yue. The girl was matched with 6 mates. So far, 2 of her mates are known. The eldest son of the tiger tribe, Bai Xing, and Mo Huan, an 8th-rank snake beast. We are left to figure out who the other 4 mates are. However, the flickering lionhead imprint on Ling Yan's right arm most likely belongs to the Golden Lion King, who is severely injured, but what's strange is that the Golden Lion King seems to have rejected the match. Is this a moral decay or a distortion of beastly nature? Please continue to follow Beastman's baby girl. Ling Yan's life since transmigrating had been a dream. She would wake up in the morning to her 2 mates working together, one preparing her bath, the other grilling meat. Ling Yan would eat the meat Bai Xing handed her while sipping the porridge Mo Huan made. This is too good to be true, she thought. Under her guidance, her 2 mates even expanded the den. The irregular cave was turned into a 4-room, 1 living room space with a fire-heated wall and bed, so they would never be cold again. Mo Huan also used the unique hard-boned wood from the area to make a dining table, chairs, bowls, chopsticks, and various wooden buckets and basins. A few days later, Bai Xing returned with some high-level crystals. Ah, Fu asked me to ask you, he said. The tribe wants to learn how to make the fire-heated wall and bed. They're offering 10 high-level crystals in exchange. Isn't that too expensive? Ling Yan hesitated a bit, but the tribe has always been good to me. Consider it a reward, Bai Xing said seriously. If the fire-heated wall and bed become widespread, this year's cold season won't kill any of the females or cubs. Ling Yan thought about it and nodded. Okay, I agree. In the following days, Ling Yan used her awakened ability to find substitute vegetables like potatoes, chili peppers, lemons, and carrots. Although they all looked strange, they tasted the same. She was able to eat stir-fried potato shreds with chili peppers, chili-fried meat, and potato and mushroom stew. Her eyes welled up with tears. She was so moved. She never expected to be able to eat these things again. That day, the crisp voice of a female rang out from outside the den. Yan Yan, can I come in? It was Duo Ya. Ling Yan immediately went to greet her. Come on in. Duo Ya came in and sat down obediently on an animal skin cushion, just like Ling Yan. Ling Yan poured her a cup of lemonade. Have a taste. Duo Ya took a sip and was surprised. It's sour, but it's really good. If you like it, take some back with you, Ling Yan said with a smile. No, 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 Duo Ya said, waving her hand. I came to ask you how to cook potatoes and carrots. My family grilled them, and they tasted awful. Ling Yan couldn't help but laugh. Bai Xing is cooking right now. Just have your mates go and learn from him. The two mates immediately went to the kitchen. Sangmu, you go too. I want to talk to Yan Yan alone, Duoya said, sending off her other mate. Ling Yan secretly marveled at the quality of the Beastman males. She wished she could mail them back to her time and give one to every single person. Yan Yan, why do you still only have Bai Hang and Mo Huan? Haven't your other mates arrived yet? Duoya asked. Ling Yan's expression changed slightly, a hint of anxiety in her voice. Could something have happened to them on the way? If it were a life or death situation, the beast imprint would react. Have you felt anything? Duoya asked. Ling Yan shook her head. Besides the brief burning sensation when Mo Huan's imprint was first matched, the others have been very stable. Then don't worry, Duoya said, comforting her. As long as they're not dead, they'll show up eventually. If not, I'll go with you to match with new ones next year. Ling Yan felt a little uneasy after hearing this. Do many males die on the way? It's not too bad, unless the journey is too long, Duoya said. The males who die most are the ones on hunts. What happens to the female if a male dies? Ling Yan asked. Of course, they get matched with a new one, Duoya said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. There are plenty of males. If one dies or you don't like him, you can always replace him. Ling Yan frowned. Don't females have to have any feelings? Females don't need to, Duoya said, her emotions suddenly running high. She then got up and left. Ling Yan was stunned. What was that about? Why did she get so angry? Bai Xing walked over. I'll tell you why Duoya said that. A long time ago, there was a female in the tribe who was matched with over a dozen mates. Then she met her true love. But that mate died while hunting, and the female went crazy. She cut off the beast imprints of her other mates, driving many of them mad or to their deaths. She then jumped into the river herself, and her dozen cubs were left to fend for themselves, and most of them died. The tribe helped as much as they could, but it was limited. Duoya's mother was that female, Bai Xing said quietly. Ling Yan was silent for a moment before chasing after Duoya. She found her not far from the den. I'm sorry, they both said at the same time. The food is ready. Aren't you going to eat? Ling Yan said, trying to be lighthearted. Of course I'm going to eat, Duoya huffed. I am starving. The smell is making my mouth water. A girl's troubles don't last long, and neither do their tempers. After seeing Duoya off, Ling Yan asked, Ahung, do we have a lot of salt left at home? Bai Xing thought for a moment. The amount we have now will last us until after the cold season if we eat it normally. That's definitely not enough, she said. We need to salt meat and vegetables for the cold season, and we can't forage for anything then. The tribe also has a kind of rock that males who don't have enough ability eat, but it's too bitter. Ling Yan looked troubled. Bai Xing realized the rock was likely coarse salt with too many impurities, which made it bitter. Ling Yan began to consider filtration methods. The next day, Bai Xing, as requested by Ling Yan, brought back a few half-person tall gray-green rocks. Ling Yan licked a bit of one. It was bitter and salty, and definitely not something you could eat directly. Ah Heng, help me smash these rocks and soak them in water. Bai Xing directly broke the rock with his bare hands. With a fistful of power, the rock turned into powder and fell into the bucket. Ling Yan's mind was racing through all the chemistry knowledge she learned in middle school. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, the Pythagorean theorem, Ohm's law. She thought of everything. After a long time, Bai Xing interrupted her thoughts. The rock water is ready. Ling Yan looked at it and said, We need to make a funnel. Something like this, she said, gesturing with her hands. Following Ling Yan's instructions, Bai Xing quickly made a large funnel. Ling Yan then instructed him to put a layer of wood ash and fine sand on the bottom. Pour the rock water into it. Okay, now we wait for the water to drain. She said this quietly, with a feeling of being both a master schemer and completely unsure of the outcome, because she wasn't certain if it would work. After dinner, Ling Yan saw that half a bucket of salt water had been filtered. She divided the salt water into 2 portions. She gave one portion to Bai Xing and asked him to use his ability to evaporate the water. She gave the other portion to Mo Huan and asked him to put it in a pot and boil it. Bai Xing's ability moved through the air, and the temperature gradually rose. A layer of white salt crystals slowly appeared at the bottom of the basin. Mo Huan's portion was also ready. The bottom of the pot was also covered in fine white particles. Ling Yan tasted them. Bai Xing's had a slight bitter taste, but Mo Huan's had almost no impurities. It worked! Ling Yan's eyes lit up with excitement. The two males also tasted it and looked at each other in shock. This salt is even cleaner and purer than the salt we get from the sea tribe. The difference in taste was likely due to whether it was boiled or not. Bai Xing's ability had simply vaporized the water. Ling Yan felt confident. My little female is so smart, Bai Xing thought to himself, lost in thought. He had been struggling for a long time and finally voiced his concerns. Yan Yan, should we tell the tribe? He was afraid that if Ling Yan's cleverness became known, it would attract trouble and he wouldn't be able to protect her. The continent was not near the sea, so salt was extremely valuable. Every year, people would travel to the sea tribe to trade for salt, but the road was littered with bodies. Before Ling Yan, Bai Xing was the strongest 7th-rank beastman in the southern continent and was full of confidence. With Ling Yan, he was constantly afraid he couldn't protect her. Ling Yan listened to him and thought, I knew it. She had already thought about this when she was making the fire-heated bed. She had instructed Bai Xing not to tell anyone that she came up with the idea. Her knowledge could not support the myth of her being a goddess. At the end of the day, Ling Yan's heart was still lonely in this world. She was a human, not a beast. But as long as it didn't endanger her, she was willing to make the lives of those around her better. This is why she taught Duo Ya how to build the fire-heated bed. Just tell the chief, Ah Fu, that you discovered this method, Ling Yan said, blinking her eyes, coming up with a compromise. Bai Xing frowned slightly. But it's your credit. How can I take it? Ling Yan couldn't help but smile. Did you carry the rocks? Did you crush them? Did you make the funnel? Did you… Bai Xing's face turned red. Yan Yan, you're too good, he said with a loving look. And my big tiger is good too, Ling Yan said, picking up a cup of water. She caught a glimpse of Mo Huan entering the den from the corner of her eye. And my big snake is good too. Mo Huan also agreed to tell the tribe about the salt-making method. He also knew Bai He and trusted him completely. However, he looked at Bai Xing and said calmly, even between brothers, we have to settle the accounts. This will cost 20 beast crystals. Bai Xing was stunned for a moment, but then he quickly looked up. I'll ask Ah Fu for 30. Ling Yan smiled at Bai Xing. What a filial son, she thought. On the other side, Bai He suddenly shivered. Why does it feel colder today? The next day, he was in the tribe. Ah Fu, are you listening to me? Bai Xing shook his father. Bai Shi tasted the salt Bai Xing brought back and froze. My son, did you come up with this? He asked, his eyes narrowed, staring at Bai Xing. Bai Xing felt guilty under his father's gaze and touched his head. I think so? He knew his son too well. He was as naive as a female. Remember this? You're the one who came up with this, Bai, he said, his voice suddenly serious. Bai Xing immediately understood. The female status must never be made public, otherwise there would be endless trouble. It was me, Bai Xing said with a firm tone. Ling Yan played with the crystals Bai Xing brought back, putting them away with the 10 crystals she earned from the fire-heated bed. She was now a wealthy woman. Ling Yan hugged the pile of crystals and couldn't help but sigh. God, can you give me a spatial ability? Even a few square meters to store my private money would be enough. Seeing the little female's greedy expression, Mo Huan thought, so Ah Yan likes crystals. I'll have to find more mutated beasts and get them for her. Bai Xing also made a mental note. So Yan Yan likes shiny, pretty rocks. Next time I'm hunting, I'll find some beautiful rocks to bring back. After dinner, Mo Huan left to hunt. Ling Yan pulled Bai Xing outside the den for some fresh air. Suddenly, a football-sized thorny fruit rolled to her feet. Ling Yan curiously kicked it. What is this? It's a toy for the cubs, a thorn fruit. They like to use it to scratch themselves. Bai Xing explained with a laugh. Not far away, 2 chubby little tiger cubs peeked out, hesitant to come closer. One of the cubs whispered, Go get it back. Uncle Bai Xing is scary. The other cub took a step back. Ling Yan couldn't understand their beast language, but seeing the little cub's timid expressions, she squatted down and waved them over. Come and get your toy. The two little tiger cubs finally mustered up the courage and slowly walked over. Ling Yan's eyes curved into a smile. Her heart felt soft. "They're so cute." From behind her, Bai Xing said with a smile, "Whenever you want cubs, we can have some too." "Thank you, Uncle Bai Xing's female," one of the little cubs howled. The other one nodded in agreement. "What are they saying?" Ling Yan asked, looking at Bai Xing. "They're thanking you," he translated with a smile. "You're welcome. You're both so cute." Ling Yan was completely smitten. "Uncle's little female is so beautiful too," the cub said. Ling Yan didn't understand what they were saying, but she saw the two little cubs' eyes were full of adoration. "Can I pet you?" The little cubs nodded in unison. Ling Yan happily squatted down and petted their round, chubby backs. The two little ones weren't shy and ran around Ling Yan, making her laugh. Bai Xing stood by, his gaze so tender it looked like it could drip with water. If he and Yan Yan had cubs, they would probably look like this, he thought. Ling Yan was tired of playing. "Do you want to have dinner at Auntie's place?" The little tiger cubs shook their heads and howled again. Quote, "They said their mother would worry if they got home too late," Bai Xing translated. Ling Yan reluctantly took her hand back. "You're right. It's getting late. Then you should take them home. Goodbye, little cuties." Soon, Bai Xing came back with some things in his hands, including a thorn fruit. "Those two little cubs are the children of Ning Na, a female in the tribe," Bai Xing said. "I ran into them on the way. Ah Fu was looking for them on the road and picked up a few thorn fruits, so I brought some back." Bai Xing placed the football-sized thorn fruits on the ground. "You can look, but don't touch them with your hands. The thorns are very hard." Ling Yan used a small wooden stick to poke at them. "Ah, Hong, can you open one for me?" Bai Xing picked up a thorn fruit, and with a light squeeze of his fingers, a crack appeared in the hard shell. Ling Yan looked closely and was shocked. "Aren't these chestnuts?" The football-sized fruit contained about 3 pounds of chestnuts. Ling Yan picked one up, and a message popped up in her mind. "Edible, sweet, no sugar to fry them, so I'll just boil them," she thought excitedly. When they got back, Bai Xing cut a slit into each chestnut, threw them into a pot with a little salt, and after 7 or 8 minutes, he took the lid off. The aroma was intoxicating. Ling Yan was so hungry she couldn't stop drooling. She couldn't wait to peel one and put it in Bai Xing's mouth. "Is it good?" "Delicious," Bai Xing said with a smile. Although soft and sticky food wasn't a male's preference, anything his female fed him was the best. Hang, why isn't Mo Huan back yet?" Ling Yan leaned out and looked for the 3rd time. "Don't worry," Bai Xing said, walking over quietly. "You can feel the life force of the beast imprint. It hasn't changed, so he's fine." Ling Yan lowered her head and checked the imprint, which was stable. She felt a little more at ease. On the other side, Mo Huan had just finished hunting 2 8th-rank mutated beasts and was about to go home when he sensed the aura of a 6th-rank mutated beast. Mutated beasts were hard to find, and he couldn't let it get away. Mo Huan immediately chased after it. "Run!" Ling San roared. The next second, he was kicked by the mutated beast and slammed into a tree. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The reason they were called mutated beasts was that they were ugly and strange, and their size was ridiculously huge. Lu Qi rushed back, wanting to carry the severely injured Ling San. "Brother, hold on!" Ling San's mouth was full of blood, but his heart was filled with despair. They were both only 4th-rank herbivorous beastmen. They had no chance against a 7th-rank mutated beast. The mutated beast seemed to be toying with them, kicking them like a cat, playing with a mouse. "I can't go on. You run," Ling San said. "No." Lu Qi's eyes were red. "I can't leave you. We'll die together." He was filled with guilt. If he hadn't made his mate unhappy, he and Ling San wouldn't have been sent to the green grass tribe to trade for knotweed. His mate's other mates were always bullying Ling San. If he hadn't been too afraid and cowardly to go alone, Ling San wouldn't have been dragged into this. "Brother, I'm sorry," Lu Qi said through clenched teeth, his eyes full of tears. Ling San raised his hand and rubbed his brother's head, forcing a smile. "We're brothers, I don't blame you." But his heart was also full of bitterness. In this world, the weak have no choice. Even if you want to live, it's not easy. A foul, bloody smell enveloped them. The gaping maw of the beast opened wider and wider. Lu Qi stubbornly stood in front of the unconscious Ling San, closing his eyes in despair. But the expected pain never came. Instead, he heard a dull thud. Lu Qi froze and then opened his eyes to see a male beast man, Mo Huan. He casually took out a beast box and left. "My luck isn't great today. I didn't get any crystals." "Thank you for saving us, sir," Lu Qi shouted, coming to his senses. Mo Huan glanced back at him and continued walking. He had no intention of saving them. "Wait, sir. We just wanted to thank you. I have some food that a female can eat." Mo Huan's figure flickered and appeared in front of them in the blink of an eye. "Give it to me," he said coldly. Lu Qi gritted his teeth and pulled out a large bundle of knotweed from his arms. Mo Huan threw the beast box he was holding into Lu Qi's arms, turned around, and disappeared into the night. "Sir, wait!" Lu Qi tried to chase after him, but was stopped by a now awake Ling San. "He smells like the tiger tribe. He should know how to eat knotweed himself." Lu Qi was overjoyed. "Brother, you're awake." "But he's a cold-blooded beast," Lu Qi whispered. "He's powerful. Let's just shut up and go. The night forest is no place for us herbivorous beasts at night." Ling San looked in the direction Mo Huan had disappeared, his heart filled with bitterness. A male as powerful as Mo Huan would stop for his mate, but I'm so weak that I'm bullied by my mate's other mates and can't even fight back. It was the first time Ling San had so intensely desired to become stronger. As the night grew darker, Ling Yan peered out of the den, mumbling to herself. Bai Xing knew she was worried, so he stayed by her side, occasionally saying a few words to distract her. When a familiar figure appeared in their line of sight, Ling Yan's eyes lit up and she ran out. "Next time I'm late, don't wait for me. Go to bed early, okay?" Mo Huan said in a gentle tone. "And you too, don't be out too late, Bai Xing," Ling Yan instructed. "Why are you so late today?" she asked. "I ran into 2 8th-rank beasts and it took some effort, but it's nothing," Mo Huan replied, but he was silent about his spiritual energy. Bai Xing understood and changed the subject. Ling Yan wanted to give the chestnuts to the tribe. "I have no problem with that," Mo Huan said, not caring. There were plenty of thorn fruits, and Ling Yan loved to eat them, so he could find them every day. The next day, Ling Yan, who had gotten up early for a change, went to the kitchen and saw Mo Huan cooking. She immediately went over and hugged him. "Oh, my Momo is cooking today." Mo Huan rubbed her head. "It'll be ready soon. Go find Bai Xing and wash up." Ling Yan found Bai Xing, who was baking something. "Ah, Hang, what is this?" she asked curiously. "Knotweed. Mo Huan brought it back yesterday," Bai Xing explained patiently. "After it's baked, it has a powder inside. When there's nothing to eat in the cold season, females will use it to make porridge. The beastmen of the green grass tribe specialize in growing this and trade it with the white tiger tribe for salt." "The green grass tribe sounds like they have a lot of vegetables. I want to go see them sometime," Ling Yan said enthusiastically. After eating, Ling Yan saw that Bai Xing was still baking the knotweed and was a little confused. Hang, do all these knotweeds have to be baked?" "Knotweed has to be baked right away, or it will rot," Bai Xing said. "Tomorrow the tribe's cold season hunt begins and I have to go." "But don't you usually go with the tribe's hunting team?" Ling Yan asked curiously. "This time is different," Bai Xing explained. "We'll be going a little deeper into the night forest. Before the cold season, mutated beasts are restless, and while crystals and beast crystals are easier to find, it's also more dangerous," Bai Xing said gently. Ling Yan nodded. "Mutated beasts, huh?" she thought, as if she had expected them to be hunting normal animals. Bai Xing was the chief son and the top warrior of the younger generation in the White Tiger tribe. Oh no, he's now the second best. It was mandatory for him to go. As for Mo Huan, he was used to being a loner, and asking him to cooperate with other beasts was probably too much to ask. A girl, unable to find a date, jumped into a river in a fit of rage. When she opened her eyes again, she was in the 5 tribes, and the great priest had arranged a matching ceremony for her. With a flash of golden light, 6 beast imprints appeared on her body: a snake, an eagle, a fox, a wolf, and a golden lion. 6 mates were packaged and delivered to the eldest son of the 5 tribes, Bai Xing, who was the first to take on the role of her mate. Not long after, Mo Huan, an 8th-rank cold-blooded serpent beast, also came to propose a partnership. Fenjing, the spirit eagle from the eagle tribe, and Shi Hua from the red fox tribe were also on their way. For some reason, the bloodthirsty Yingzhe was not taking any action. What was even stranger was that the Golden Lion King in the Lion King city had directly rejected the match. But no matter what happened, now that the girl had 6 mates, she was ecstatic. Every morning, she'd wake up to one mate serving her bathwater and another making her breakfast. Her life was so much better than her modern life. At the very least, she didn't have to pay her credit card bills every month. She also surprisingly discovered many substitutes for modern vegetables, such as potatoes, chili peppers, lemons, and carrots. She even applied many modern techniques to the Beastman world. The initial development work was mostly complete, but what about the rest of the story? The exciting part is coming up next. Ling Yan saw Bai Xing baking a plant called knotweed. After experimenting, she found that the powder from this plant was actually a form of flour. I want to eat this today, Ling Yan declared immediately. Bai Xing frowned, trying to dissuade her. Yan, this isn't good. It's too dry and it gets stuck in your throat. Ling Yan narrowed her eyes. Don't tell me you eat it directly? Bai Xing nodded. Of course we do. Ling Yan was speechless and just wanted to pinch her nose. At noon, Ling Yan made steamed buns and noodles with the knotweed powder. Looks like we'll have to ask Afu to trade for more knotweed this year, Bai Xing said as he ate. Time passed quickly. Bai Xing had been gone on the hunt for 3 days. Ling Yan leaned against Manhwa, listening to the crackling bonfire, and couldn't help but think of Bai Xing. On the other side, Bai Xing had just finished a fierce battle. They had been ambushed by a dozen mutated beasts, and it had taken a great deal of effort to take them down. The beastmen were exhausted and sat on the ground to rest. Bai Xing casually wiped the blood from his arm. I wonder if Mo Huan is taking good care of her. Ling Yan woke up at noon. Mo Huan was busy making food. To be honest, Mo Huan's cooking was just a step-by-step replica of what he had learned from Bai Xing, but the taste was just a little off. During their meal, a beast howl suddenly echoed from the tribe. Mo Huan instantly appeared beside Ling Yan, shielding her with his body. What's wrong? Ling Yan also heard the commotion. The hunting team must be back, Mo Huan said, his voice cold. Don't be afraid. I'll take you to see. Before they reached the square, Ling Yan felt an intense gaze on her. She saw a white eagle in the distance, staring at her with an unfriendly look. Ling Yan was puzzled. When did I offend him? Mo Huan saw this and glared back coldly, standing in front of Ling Yan. Just then, Bai Xing saw them and was about to come over when a red fox suddenly pounced toward Ling Yan. Mo Huan whipped his tail, sending the fox flying backward. The eagle beastman immediately spread his wings and flew over, catching the red fox. Ling Yan was startled. What's going on? They're coming for me? Bai Xing hurried over. Yan, are you scared? Ling Yan shook her head. I'm fine. What kind of beasts are those? Mo Huan was about to move his tail again when Bai Xing said, Mo Huan, stop! They're Yan's mates. Mo Huan knew they were Ling Yan's mates, but why did the fox just pounce on her without a word? What if he had scared Yan? Ling Yan was so caught up in the sudden events that she didn't even notice the 2 beast imprints on her body faintly heating up. She had an eagle and a fox? But the eagle's eyes had been so menacing, and the fox had just charged at her without a word. Who would have recognized them? The red fox put on a wronged face, his watery eyes staring at Ling Yan, trying his best to look cute. Bai Xing said to Qihua and Ling Chuan, All right, let's talk at home. The fox reluctantly shut up, and the eagle nodded. After comforting his own beasts, Bai Xing continued to deal with the injured beastmen. They had planned to return that day, but a 7th-rank mutated beast had appeared in the inner circle of the night forest. Luckily, they had run into Ling Chuan and Qihua, or the tribe would have suffered a great loss. Ling Yan looked around, but deliberately avoided looking at the eagle and the fox next to her. It wasn't entirely her fault for not recognizing them. She had never met these 2 beasts before. As for the beast imprint sensing, who would constantly sense what their mates were doing? Besides, the feeling wasn't that obvious. After Bai Xing finished his arrangements, he walked over. Let's go home. Ling Yan finally looked at the eagle and the fox. Are you 2 coming back with me? Ling Chuan was about to speak when the fox beat him to it. Yes, I want to! He then transformed into his human form. He had short red hair, a boyish charm, and a hint of wildness. He ran to Ling Yan, grinning foolishly. A red phoenix tail flower quickly appeared in his palm. My name is Chi-Hua. Yan Yan, I've missed you so much. This is for you. It's good for your skin. Ling Yan took the flower from Chi-Hua. Thank you. The fox's smile became even more foolish. The flower was a semi-companion flower from his tribe, only given to the female they have chosen. At that moment, the eagle also transformed into his human form. Unlike Chi-Hua's boyishness, Ling Chuan exuded a dominant aura. His expression was serious and unsmiling, which made him a little intimidating. I am the eagle beastman, Ling Chuan. I also want to. Yan Yan, as long as you want me, I will be your mate. Ling Chuan finally spoke, with a hint of caution in his voice. Ling Yan paused for a moment. Since you both want to, let's go home. On the way, Chi-Hua's mouth never stopped. He talked about his excitement during the matching and what he had seen along the way. Ling Yan would casually respond, and he would immediately build on it, jumping from one topic to the next. Ling Chuan was quiet the whole way, but he kept staring at Ling Yan. Back at the den, the mates were all surprised by the piles of dried fish and meat at the entrance. Bai Xing couldn't keep a straight face. Mo Huan is trying to make the fish in the river go extinct? Chi-Hua was the first to react. So many thornfish? Yan Yan, you like to eat this? I'll catch them for you in the future too. Bai Xing led everyone into the den. It looked ordinary on the outside, but was a whole different world inside. Chi-Hua and Ling Chuan looked around curiously, and then obediently sat down next to Ling Yan. Bai Xing brewed a pot of lemonade and handed it to them. Welcome. Let it cool down a bit before you drink. What is this? It smells weird, Chi-Hua said, leaning in to sniff. It's a fruit Yan Yan discovered. We use it to make water, Bai Xing explained. Ling Chuan took the cup from Ling Yan's hand, and a few whirlwinds of wind went through the water, cooling it down. Can you do mine too? Chi-Hua also handed his cup over. Wind abilities are so useful, Ling Yan said with a laugh. Ling Chuan's mouth curved into a small smile, and his eyes lit up. Chi-Hua was not happy. Yan Yan, look at me. I'm a wood elementalist. I can make flowers bloom and I can heal you. Ling Yan laughed. That's awesome. Our Chi-Hua is so talented. Chi-Hua immediately puffed out his chest, revealing his pride, after they had sat for a while. Bai Hang and Mo Huan went into the kitchen to make dinner. Mo Huan asked in a low voice, What do you think of these two beasts? Bai Xing nodded. They're fine. Their strength is all right. Mo Huan didn't say much. If you say they're fine, they're fine. The two of them talked confidently, and the two beasts outside heard everything. Chi-Hua didn't care. No one could stop him from being with Yan Yan. Ling Chuan, however, thought to himself, one of these beasts is an 8th rank, and the other is the first mate. If they teamed up against me, I probably wouldn't even be able to get into the den. But at least it sounded like he had a chance. Yan Yan, is this our den from now on? Chi-Hua asked, looking around excitedly. Everything was so new and interesting. Ling Yan looked at him, acting like a curious cub. It's hard to resist a clingy puppy, she thought. You can look around. This is your home now too, she said with a smile. Home! I love that word, Chi-Hua said happily, running around. Ling Yan turned to look at Ling Chuan, who was still staring at her. She couldn't take it anymore. Please don't look at me like that. It makes me nervous. Ling Chuan froze and quickly looked away. Sorry, Yan Yan. Ling Yan felt a little embarrassed. He didn't seem to have done anything wrong. My tribe, the Eagle's Tooth tribe, has a strong presence, so maybe I look intimidating. I wasn't glaring at you. I saw you from far away. Ling Chuan added, You're not intimidating. I'm not scared. Ling Yan quickly explained, then added, I'm just not used to it. It's okay. You'll get used to it after you've been around me for a while, Ling Chuan said gently, refilling her water. Ling Yan's mouth twitched. Are you two from the same tribe? She asked. Ling Chuan shook his head. No, I'm from the Eagle's Tooth tribe on the westernmost part of the western continent. Chi-Hua is from the Red Fox tribe in the southern continent. I felt the match and left immediately. I ran into Chi-Hua on the way, and he was being chased by a few fallen beasts. Before he could finish, Chi-Hua transformed into a red ball of fluff and pounced on Ling Chuan. Bai Xing and Mo Huan immediately rushed over to check on Ling Yan, relieved when they found her unharmed. Bai Xing's face turned cold, and his voice was sharp. You two are fighting in front of a female! Chi-Hua immediately cowered. I'm sorry, I won't do it again, he sounded like a repeat offender. Ling Chuan also rubbed his arm. It won't happen again. Ling Yan was about to mediate when Mo Huan gently squeezed her hand, signaling her to stay out of it. He knew Bai Xing had to establish his authority, or things would get chaotic in the future. Ah, Heng, is dinner ready yet? Ling Yan wisely changed the subject. Bai Xing bent down and kissed her on the forehead. Almost. He then turned and went back into the kitchen, with Mo Huan following him. Before he left, Mo Huan gave Ling Chuan and Qi Hua a cold stare. Ling Chuan's back stiffened. Bai Xing might just scold them, but Mo Huan was the type who would actually do something to them if he found them in the wild. Bai Xing is too worried about me, Ling Yan explained with a laugh. He's just worried about you guys. At that moment, Qi Hua spoke up. I just thought it was embarrassing to be chased by fallen beasts, so I told Ling Chuan not to tell anyone. But Yan Yan is also someone, Ling Chuan said lazily, which made Qi Hua choke on his words. The young man's eyes were getting red with frustration. Yan Yan, I didn't mean it like that. Ling Yan saw that the little puppy was about to cry and quickly mediated. Ling Chuan is just joking. As they talked, dinner was served. They all sat around the table. Qi Hua unhesitatingly sat next to Mo Huan. Ling Chuan secretly thought, young people are so simple. Qi Hua only fears Bai Xing, but he doesn't see that Mo Huan is the real cold-blooded beast. Ling Yan looked at her 4 unique mates and couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Bai Xing was the gentle dad type. Mo Huan was the cold and insecure type. Ling Chuan was the powerful but sensitive type. Qi Hua was the lively and goofy type. Ling Yan was so lost in her thoughts that she didn't realize how quiet it had become. She quickly pretended to look for chopsticks and a spoon. Qi Hua tried to use the chopsticks like them but couldn't pick up anything. Chopsticks are so hard, he cried. Ling Yan couldn't watch anymore. Use a spoon. You can practice with chopsticks later. Qi Hua immediately switched to a spoon, and his eyes lit up. Ling Yan looked at Ling Chuan and saw that he was already awkwardly picking up food, so she didn't say anything. The dishes on the table were plentiful. Bai Xing had even made noodles for Ling Yan. Some of these dishes might be spicy. Try them, and if you can't handle it, don't eat it, Ling Yan warned. Spicy? What's spicy? Qi Hua asked, puzzled. Try this, Ling Yan said, pointing to the dry-fried meat. Qi Hua took a spoonful and put it in his mouth. The next second, his eyes were on fire and full of tears. He couldn't stop panting. If it's too spicy, spit it out, Ling Yan said with a laugh. Qi Hua shook his head. No, I can't. It's too delicious. He then took another spoonful. Ling Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry and could only tell him not to eat too much. Ling Chuan tried a bite and nodded, indicating he was fine. Ling Yan smiled and continued eating her noodles. The atmosphere was relaxed during dinner, and everyone was less formal. When Ling Yan put down her chopsticks, the other beasts also stopped eating. Only Qi Hua finished his plate without hesitation, praising Bai Xing and Mo Huan the whole time. Ling Yan couldn't help but laugh. I'll make more tomorrow. Don't eat so much you'll hurt yourself. I'm not full, Yan Yan. It's too delicious. Qi Hua's eyes were shining. Seeing him eat with such gusto, Ling Yan felt like her own appetite would double if he was with her. Bai Xing looked at the smiling Ling Yan and the meat-gnawing Qi Hua and felt like he had an extra son. After dinner, Qi Hua offered to go to the river to wash the dishes. Ling Yan suddenly remembered her 4 mates. Fire, wind, and wood were all there. She was only missing a water elemental mate. The cold season was approaching, and she wondered where the water elemental mate was. At that moment, Yingzi, the wolf she was thinking of, was trapped in a tribal dungeon. The area was surrounded by lightning, which suppressed his ice abilities. He charged at the walls again and again, finally collapsing in a state of exhaustion. His eyes were filled with despair. Maybe this is the destiny of a snow territory silver wolf. Just as he was about to give up, a cold voice said, Go, don't come back. I hope you truly find the happiness you're looking for. Ling Yan didn't know that Yingze was fighting with his whole tribe to be with her. She finished her bath and was about to go to sleep when she saw 2 pairs of eyes staring at her. Ling Yan slapped her forehead. She had forgotten. She hadn't arranged the rooms for her new mates. Qi Hua and Ling Chuan hadn't expected to have separate rooms. Beastmen could sleep anywhere. The living room was more comfortable than their nests. They were staring at Ling Yan, hoping she would take one of them to bed with her. Bai Xing walked over, picked up Ling Yan and walked into the room. Aheng, what about them? Ling Yan's words were cut off by a kiss. Bai Xing said slowly, Mo Huan will arrange it. Don't worry. That night, a passionate spring-like scene unfolded inside the room while the two young beasts outside suffered through the night, barely sleeping. The next morning, Ling Yan groggily opened her eyes and was startled to see Qihua's magnified face on her pillow. She screamed. Qihua was also startled and screamed back. Bai Xing rushed in when he heard the commotion and, without hesitation, picked up Qihua and threw him out of the den. Ling Yan laughed and cried at the same time. I'm fine. He just scared me. It's not his fault. A head peeked out of the entrance. I didn't mean to. Ling Yan was stunned. Bai Xing gestured for Qihua to hurry and leave. Qihua reluctantly retreated, looking wronged. Bai Xing said helplessly, Don't worry, I just scared him. I won't actually do anything to him. After washing up, Ling Yan sat at the table and looked at the few pieces of appealingly colored grilled meat. It smells so good! Qihua immediately ran out to take credit. Yan, I grilled this. Have a taste. Ling Yan ate a piece, giving him face. The fruity aroma of the wood and the herbal flavor of the seasonings completely masked the raw taste of the beast meat. It was surprisingly good. Qihua propped his chin on his hands and looked at her with shining eyes. Ling Yan praised him with a smile. It's really good. I love your grilled meat. Is it better than Bai Xing's? Qihua asked innocently, completely unaware that the air around him had just dropped 3 degrees. Ling Yan looked at Bai Xing, who was staring at her. Bai Xing is a great cook. He can make a lot of my favorite dishes. Your grilled meat is also very good. Bai Xing was satisfied and continued to stir his cold porridge. Qihua, however, didn't notice the change in atmosphere and was thinking seriously. Bai Xing, will you teach me how to cook? Bai Xing raised an eyebrow. Once you've learned, you can cook every day and stop causing trouble everywhere. Qihua was so happy when he heard this that he jumped twice. You're so nice! On the other side, Mo Huan and Ling Chuan were on their way to the night forest. After a long silence, Ling Chuan finally couldn't help but say, Yan is very special. Mo Huan stopped. What do you mean? She's not as self-centered as other females. There are a lot of things in her den that I've never seen in other tribes. She's very unique. She has a... Before Ling Chuan could finish, he was sent flying by Mo Huan's tail. The next second, lightning struck. Ling Chuan reacted quickly, rolling to the side in a panic. His body was already tingling from the electricity Mohan truly wanted to kill him. Stop, I didn't mean it that way. Mohan's sudden outburst made Lin Chuan realize that the little female might really have a secret. Mohan chased Lin Chuan, throwing one thunderball after another into the sky. Lin Chuan could only flee in a panic. Is this the power of an 8th-tier beast? Lin Chuan started to run out of strength. If you kill her beast husband just like that, won't she be sad? Vultures and snakes are natural enemies. Although Mohan was at the 8th tier, he couldn't do much against Lin Chuan, a wind-type 7th tier, for a while. I have no ill intentions. I'm just worried that he's too smart, and others will become interested if they find out. You know the nature of our Wind Shadow Vulture tribe. We live and die with our mates. You'd better not have any other intentions. Mohan also stopped his attack, his eyes giving a cold warning. Lin Chuan wanted to roll his eyes, but didn't dare. He promised. I swear, the males in the beast world were like this. One second they were fighting to the death, the next they were hunting together. In the kitchen, pots and pans clanged. Baihong's patience was quickly running out because of Qihua. Get out! Qihua was thrown out, falling heavily to the ground. He looked at Ling Yan with an awkward, silly grin. Ling Yan comforted him. It's okay. It's not embarrassing that you can't cook. You're very good at roasting meat. Qihua's eyes lit up again. Really? Then I'll roast it for you every day. Ling Yan's mouth twitched. If you roast it every meal, then I won't have time to spend with you. How about you only roast it when I want to eat? Qihua nodded seriously. Okay, then be sure to tell me when you want to eat. Ling Yan responded as if humoring a child. It was truly tiring to coax him. However, with Qihua around, the house was indeed much livelier, and Ling Yan was happy with it. Come eat something with me. Ling Yan handed a bowl of chestnuts and peanuts to Qihua. Qihua imitated him, peeling one for Ling Yan and putting 2 in his own mouth. Ling Yan couldn't help but laugh. It was rare that he would eat anything. Foxes are indeed omnivores. How old are you? Ling Yan asked, out of curiosity. Just turned 18, Qihua said with a proud look. The day after I came of age, I was matched with Yan Yan. The beast god and mother god told me to come find you immediately. Ling Yan was stunned. You're so young. I'm not small. He was about to lift his animal skin skirt to prove it. Ling Yan quickly asked, her mouth twitching. I was talking about your age. Chihua blushed and lowered his head, peeling the chestnuts. Could you make the flower you gave me that day again? I want to see it, Ling Yan asked. Chihua spread his palm, and a small bud quickly grew, blooming into a pink flower. You mean this? Ling Yan was stunned. Why did the color change? The one you gave me before was red, wasn't it? This is a half-life flower. Chihua explained. If a female eats it, she gets a muxy ability and protection. This protection can keep the female's face young and wounds heal quickly. Ling Yan was shocked. It's like a magic pill. Does every flower have this effect? Only that red phoenix tail flower is useful. The ordinary ones can only relieve external wounds. Chihua handed the pink flower in his hand to Ling Yan. Quote, a red one can only be condensed once in a male's lifetime. Ling Yan thought, even if the ordinary one can only relieve external wounds, that's still amazing. By the way, the phoenix tail flower loses its effect after 3 days of being picked. Yan Yan, remember to eat it, Chihua added. This little brat. That red phoenix tail flower was so important, yet he just gave it to me so casually and didn't even remind me. It's a good thing I didn't throw it away and saved it. He took the phoenix tail flower from the bedroom. Do I eat it directly? Ling Yan asked. Eat it directly, Chihua replied with a smile. Ling Yan put the flower in her mouth. It instantly turned into energy and surged into her body. I don't feel anything. Ling Yan looked at Chihua in confusion. Look at my beast print, Chihua said, pointing to her abdomen. Ling Yan looked down at the little fox on her abdomen. The beast print had now turned a fiery red, and the pattern was lifelike. Isn't this a change that only happens after mating? Quote, this is a racial trait of our heavenly moon red fox clan, Chihua said, with pride in his eyes. When a female eats a half-life flower, it's the same as accepting me, and the beast print will change just like it does after mating. Ling Yan stared at the little fox print and fell silent. This damn fox, I've been played again. Sisters who have been through transmigration should know that not all milk is called telunsu, and not all transmigrated sisters can be bound to 6 beast husbands. This girl is ridiculous. She jumped into a river to commit suicide because no one liked her. Good words are like an old saying, once bitten by a snake, you hear birds everywhere. She vowed that she would never post on her WeChat moments again in her next life. She didn't even know which river she jumped into. With a splash, she transmigrated. Even more so, in the tiger tribe, with the help of the high priest named Wil Wei en Elwen Muben Osas to Wen Wei Yuen Muben Osas, she was matched with 6 beast husbands. This girl, who had no special characteristics but was particularly lustful, was overjoyed on the spot. However, only 4 of the 6 husbands had arrived, and the remaining 2 had never shown up. Outside the long pavilion, by the ancient road, a line of white egrets flew into the blue sky. The day before tomorrow, which is today, the weather was beautiful and the work was piling up. This morning, Ling Yan slowly opened her eyes and found that only she and Chihua were left in the room. Where are the others? They're not here, just the 2 of us, Chihua said with a grin. Bai Hong left you at home with peace of mind. Ling Yan was a little surprised. Yan Yan, do you want to go out and play? I bet you've never let Bai Hang and the others take you out to play. Chihua had a look as if he saw through everything. Ling Yan flinched. It seemed to be true. At first, she was afraid of exposing her identity, and later she just got used to it. Yan Yan, just say what you want to do. Don't hold it in, Chihua said seriously. Ling Yan squinted at him. This fox obviously wanted to go out and play himself, but I don't know the way. It's okay, as long as we can get back. Chihua patted his chest. Ling Yan looked at Chihua's confident expression and went out with him, half believing. A while later, which was 2.5 whiles later, Ling Yan found that the surroundings were deserted. Chihua, did you go the wrong way? No, I didn't, Chihua said with a little guilt and continued to walk forward. But the further they went, the more desolate it became. Let's go back, Ling Yan said, speechless. I knew it was a bad idea to trust a fox. Fortunately, they changed direction and finally saw the shadow of beastmen. A few females looked at Ling Yan brazenly. Just as Ling Yan was about to ask what was wrong with her, a familiar voice came from behind. Yan Yan, is it really you? You finally decided to come out and play." Duoya was very surprised to see Lingyan. Lingyan smiled. "Long time no see, Duoya. Yanyan, you are so beautiful. Everyone is staring at you. Tomorrow, the whole tribe will be talking about you." Lingyan's forehead was in her palm. She finally understood what those looks meant. While the two were chatting happily, a tiger suddenly darted past Lingyan. The tiger turned into human form. "Are you Baihang's female? You've been looking at me. Do you want to be my female?" The beast man was so confident. Lingyan almost laughed. "Are there also common beasts in the beast world?" She patiently said. "Sorry, you've mistaken me for someone else." The beast man laughed foolishly. "If you're in love with me, just admit it. If you scratch Baihang's beast print and make me your first beast husband, I'll agree." Lingyan's eyes burned with fury. "In your dreams? I don't want you. I knew you liked me. How about this? I'll defeat this fox and I'll give you some face," he continued his confident speech. When a male beast falls in love with a female and is rejected, he generally won't pester her. After all, forced mating carries great risks, and getting your beast print scratched is not worth the loss. But if a male challenges and defeats a female's beast husband, he can also join the family. Seeing that Chihua and the tiger beast, Hubin, were about to fight, Lingyan anxiously asked Duoya, "Who is this beast man? You don't know him?" "Hubin, the second warrior of the tribe. He's the most powerful 6th-tier beastman besides Baihang," Duoya said. "He has always been unhappy with Baihang, but he's always been suppressed by him." Lingyan's heart sank. She understood that Hubin wasn't interested in her, but was taking the opportunity for revenge. Hubin had been a 6th-tier for many years, while Chihua had just reached 6th-tier, and his ability was Muxi. Lingyan knew that Chihua would probably be at a disadvantage. Hubin had been waiting for a long time to find an opportunity for revenge, so he was going to kill the fox next to Lingyan first. He would show no mercy before Baihang returned. Hubin leaped with all his might, charging at Chihua. Chihua was sent flying, breaking several trees and spitting out a mouthful of blood. Lingyan wanted to go forward, but Duoya stopped her. During a male's fight, if a female gets too close, she'll be hurt by the impact. Besides, Hubin is fighting in the name of pursuing a female, so it's not good for them to interfere. "Chihua! Chihua!" Lingyan shouted his name loudly. Chihua, who was originally unconscious, moved. He struggled to get up, covered in dirt and blood. Hubin activated his breath ability, intending to give him a fatal blow. Chihua rolled over and dodged. "Ha ha ha," Hubin laughed. "How many times can you dodge?" At this moment, Chihua's eyes lit up. He activated his vines and sent them towards Hubin, temporarily interrupting his attack. But the situation quickly reached a stalemate. Hubin couldn't get close to Chihua, but a single vine was easy to avoid, and Chihua couldn't do anything to him either. Lingyan anxiously tried to think of a solution. "Chihua, attack from behind or tie up his limbs." Lingyan realized that this child, Chihua, was too straightforward and only knew how to attack from the front. Chihua threw a vine straight at Hubin's front. Suddenly, the vine turned and went for his rear. The next second, a piercing, sky-high scream echoed throughout the valley. Hubin was so angry he jumped up and down. The surrounding beasts watching looked at Hubin's pathetic state, and all felt a tightening in their backsides. "How horrible!" Hubin clutched his butt, gritting his teeth and glaring at Lingyan and Chihua. When Chihua saw he was still grumbling, he quickly used vines to tie Hubin up and threw him away. Chihua had blood on the corner of his mouth and smiled as he comforted Lingyan. "Don't be afraid. I chased him away." Lingyan looked at his pathetic appearance and felt a lot of heartache, but still praised him for being amazing. "My big fox is great," but she felt an uneasy feeling in her heart. The look in Hubin's eyes before he was thrown away made her uncomfortable. She decided to discuss it with Baihang and the others that night to prevent any accidents. Duoya saw Lingyan's face look ugly and comforted her. "Yanyan, everything is fine, don't worry." Lingyan smiled and shook her head, indicating that she was okay. Quote, "Let's go see the witch doctor." "I'm not going," Chihua said, spitting blood. Lingyan looked at Chihua with a pained expression. "You don't need to. They are just small injuries." "You forgot that I am also a witch doctor," Chihua said, shaking his head dismissively. Hubin, who had been thrown out of the tribe and into a mud pit by Chihua, was still angry. He was smashing flowers and grass, realizing that the damn fox had launched a sneak attack. "I had such a good opportunity today and I didn't seize it," He gritted his teeth. He had met Ling Yan in the morning, and the other 3 beast husbands were out hunting, which was why he dared to provoke her. He never expected a witch doctor to be a tough opponent. Hubin, feeling embarrassed, decided to hide. He angrily kicked a tree trunk, but it hurt a place that was unmentionable, and he cried out in pain. "Is your tribe's brain broken?" Lin Chuan looked at Hubin, who was talking to himself and hitting flowers and grass, and then looked at Beihang. "He's crazy," Beihang recalled the scene. The 3 of them were about to return to the tribe when they saw a heavy object fall from the sky. The beasts quickly hid and observed, only to find a crazy person, Mohan. Suddenly the tree. "He has Chihua's scent on him. Yanyan is fine. Her beast print is okay," Beihang said after confirming. "Lin Chuan and I will go back to the tribe to check. Mohan, you follow him." Almost at the same time, Ling Yan and Beihang returned to the cave. "Yanyan, are you okay?" Beihang asked with concern. Ling Yan reassured him. "I'm fine. Chihua is seriously injured but refuses to see the witch doctor." Beihang breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that she was okay. "You're fine. He has a thick skin, he won't die." Ling Yan angrily slapped Beihang. "Don't talk nonsense!" Okay. Chihuahua's medical skills are amazing. The tribe's witch doctor might not be as good as him, Beihang said with a smile. "I'll go in and see how this kid is." "We came back and found Hubin. He had Chihuahua's scent on him. Mohan has already gone after him," Lin Chuan said, staring at Ling Yan. Ling Yan had thought he was going to deal with the prey, but she never expected him to have encountered Hubin and chased after him. Ling Yan took Lin Chuan's hand and entered the cave, where she saw Chihua grinning, boasting about his bravery to Beihang. "You don't know, I sent Hubin flying 10 miles with 1 punch. While saying this, Chihua made a gesture, but he used too much force and injured his wound again. Beihang knew from hearing this that there was a lot of exaggeration. It seemed he couldn't spoil him so much in the future. He still needed to train. He couldn't even defeat someone of the same tier. Seeing Ling Yan and Lin Chuan come in, he became even more excited. Just as he was about to grab Lin Chuan and tell his heroic story again, Beihang interrupted him. "Okay, we know you're amazing, but what happened today? Why did you fight with Hubin?" "What else could it be?" Chihua pouted. "He wanted to be Yanyan's male and said some disrespectful things about her." "He insulted you?" "I'll go and kill him," Lin Chuan said, getting up to leave. Beihang stopped him. "Is it not scary for you to talk like that in front of a female?" Lin Chuan clenched his fists and sat down again. Ling Yan patted the back of his hand. "I'm okay. I feel like he didn't really want to pursue me." Beihang instantly understood. "He came for me. Sorry, Yanyan, I scared you." Ling Yan shook her head. "I'm fine. If you enjoy the glory of your family, you naturally have to bear the risks. There's a grudge?" Chihuahua's eyes lit up when he heard there was gossip. He leaned in and bumped Beihang's shoulder. "Tell me more." Beihang stood up and waved his big hand and began to tell the story. A long time ago, Hubin was the tribe's first warrior. He liked the female Fufu, but Fufu didn't like him, so Hubin defeated all of Fufu's beast husbands. Fufu had no choice but to make an agreement with Hubin. As long as he was still the first in the tribe this time, Fufu would be his female. If not, he couldn't force her anymore. Hubin felt confident, and he even swore before the beast god that he would never pester her if he lost. Just as the beast thought Fufu couldn't escape, Beihang came out of nowhere. He had just broken through to the 6th tier and defeated Hubin, who had been stuck at the 6th tier for many years. Hubin was furious and had no choice but to give up on Fufu, and he has hated Beihang ever since. "Wow! A hero saves the beauty," Chihua said with a playful grin. "Why did you get involved?" Lin Chuan looked at Beihang. Beihang explained, "My wolf brother was Fufu's beast husband, and he asked me for help." The whole tribe knew Fufu didn't like Hubin. Later, Fufu and her beast husband went out to play and encountered a stray beast. Beihang's voice sank. Fufu was taken, and all her beast husbands were killed. "What about your wolf brother?" Ling Yan asked with a sigh. "I never expected this ending." Beihang said, "My wolf brother went to the sea tribe at the time. When he sensed that his female was gone, he exploded and died on the spot. This is also why the tribe confirmed that the female Fufu had died." Ling Yan heard that something was wrong. "Ahang, where was Fufu captured? If one of her beast husbands went out, there's no way she would be too far from the tribe. The area behind the tribe's fire is a cliff, and you have to pass through the tribe to get there. At that time, everyone thought that was the safest place. The females all love to go play there. Bai Hang's voice became slower and slower, and he obviously also sensed that something was wrong. I remember that day. Most of the beastmen in the tribe went out to besiege a wounded beast. Later, even the male patrolman went. After a great deal of effort, we finally took down one beast. Then, word reached the tribe that stray beasts were attacking. By the time they rushed back, Fufu had already been taken away, and all of her beast husbands were dead. Why did the patrol attack the alien beasts? The stray beasts only took Fufu. Ling Yan asked Bai Hang for the details of the echo. The patrol said they had received orders that the hunting team needed help. Who found the alien beast? Who ordered the patrol to leave? Ling Yan felt the clues were connected. Hu Ben and Bai Hang gritted their teeth to say those two words. That was right after he defeated Hu Ben and hadn't yet taken over tribal affairs. After that incident, the management rights of the tribe's patrol team were taken back from the first warrior by the chief and the priest. I guess AFU and the others were also suspicious at that time. Lin Chuan looked at Bai Xing. Hu Ben can't stay. There's no guarantee he won't harm Yan Yan. Xihua, seeing that everyone was not speaking, scratched his head impatiently. Is the fool Hu Ben related to Hu Ben? Didn't they say he was a female? Ling Yan affectionately stroked his head. It's a miracle you've grown up so much. On the other side, Mo Huan followed Hu Ben into the dark nocturnal forest, a place with strange rock formations. After Hu Ben entered the forest, he became more and more enraged. He felt that he had alerted the snake today. Bai Xing definitely wouldn't let that fox and his female stay at home alone in the future. Since there's no opportunity, then be more ruthless. Bai Xing meddles in other people's business. Let him also taste the feeling of losing his beloved female. Hu Ben thought and laughed. Mo Huan followed him, muttering to himself. Could it be that Xihua had hit his head? Soon, Hu Ben arrived at the entrance of a cave and stopped. Mo Huan didn't dare to follow him in, and hid not far away. Hu Ben didn't enter the cave. He stood respectfully in front of the entrance and said, Lord Shabi, I am Hu Ben from the White Tiger tribe. I have something to discuss with you. Inside the cave, the beastman called Lord Shabi by Hu Ben was kneeling in front of another beastman. This beastman laughed when he heard the Lord Shabi voice outside. How dare you call yourself Lord, you five-realm useless person? With my tail needles, you swagger around everywhere. Shalan, please forgive me, I am your older brother, the beastman named Shabi begged. Older brother? Would an older brother steal his younger brother's tail needles when he's shedding his skin? Shalan sneered. I just borrowed them. Besides, haven't you also managed to break through to the 8th realm without your tail needles? Shabi was still defending himself. The Shaxian family's tail needles are a matter of life and death. This kid actually survived. I should have killed him back then. Is that your reason for harming me? You couldn't advance, so you stole my tail needles and pretend to be an adult? He looked at his brother, who was like mud, with a trace of coldness in his eyes. Hu Ben felt that something was wrong inside and tried to sneak away, but the pressure from the 8th realm beast pinned him down. You came and now you want to leave? No way. Shalan threw the dying Shabi to the side and used his tail stinger to drag Hu Ben into the cave. Hu Ben, seeing the beastman with a stronger aura, immediately flattered him. Congratulations, Lord Shabi, on advancing to the 8th realm. Shalan laughed loudly. This was the funniest joke he had heard in 2 years. Is that useless Shabi worthy? Hu Ben finally felt that something was not right. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the breathless beastman on the side. That was Shabi. Who was this one in front of him? He felt that today was the worst day of his life. How did you notice something was wrong? Shalan suddenly poked his head out from behind him. Hu Ben knelt down with a thud. Lord, please let me go. Don't worry. Shalan's tone suddenly became gentle. First, tell me what good deeds you've done with my tail needles. Then, tell me why you came today. Maybe I can help you. The tail stinger flashed with a cold intent, pointing directly at his eyes. Hu Ben fainted from fear. Did you come today for that snake beast outside? Just now I sensed the presence of another cold-blooded beast outside. I thought he was a companion of my useless brother, but he never appeared. When Hu Ben heard snake beast, he knew it was the one from Bai Xing's family. It seemed that he had been watched. He decided to take a risk. I came for Ling Yan from the White Tiger tribe. Before he could finish speaking, the cave was pierced through by a huge black snake tail. Shalan quickly teleported to dodge it. This snake beast didn't move all day, but as soon as I mentioned this female, he attacks directly. Interesting. Shalon laughed coldly. Hu Ben was knocked out by the blow and was thrown out by Shalon like trash. Shalon looked at the snake beast in front of him. He has a female's mark on his chest and a sweet female scent on his body. What are you showing off? Mo Huan examined this stray beast. Either he had been beaten or scared away. He hadn't seen this one before. He must be new. Do you want that tiger? Shalon looked at Mo Huan. Mo Huan didn't answer. This stray beast knew a Yan's name. He had to kill him. As for Hu Ben, in his eyes, he was already a dead man. Shalon saw the lightning ball heading for his face and cursed. This snake is crazier than me. Seeing the snake beast getting closer, Shalon immediately raised an earth wall and teleported underground. Mo Huan broke the earth wall, sensed the movement in the ground, and launched lightning balls following Shalon's route. Shalon was shaken by the lightning ball's ripples. His tail needles were already weaker than a normal 8th realm's, and this snake attacked with lightning, which was extremely lethal. Seeing the lake not far away, he quickly teleported there. The water current blocked his aura. Mo Huan followed to investigate. This scorpion is not very strong, but he's a master at escaping. Shalon took the opportunity to release a smoke cloud and fled into the center of the dark nocturnal forest. The smoke was not poisonous, but it could numb the senses instantly. When Mo Huan recovered, the scorpion had already left. Just as he was about to give chase, a sharp cry came from the sky. A few seconds later, Lin Xuan landed in front of him. What about Hu Ben? Lin Xuan asked. Mo Huan thought about it. I think he was thrown over there. Lin Xuan was stunned. Then what are you doing here? Chasing an 8th realm scorpion beast, but I didn't catch him. Mo Huan added that he knew Ling Yan's name. Lin Xuan immediately flew to investigate. Just as he found the scorpion, it got into the center of the dark, nocturnal forest. Did he enter the center? I can't see him. Lin Xuan flew back and said, the center of the dark, nocturnal forest is covered in thick fog from the end of the silent season to the next rainy season. We can't see what's inside from the outside. Moreover, no beast that enters at this time comes out alive. Let's wait on the sides. Maybe he'll come out soon, Mo Huan said. An eagle and a snake went to the edge of the center, but they waited until it got dark and the roars of the alien beasts were heard, and they didn't see any beast come out. The two beasts looked at each other and could only leave. They couldn't easily enter the depths of the dark, nocturnal forest at night. Shalon felt the two beasts leaving and let out a sigh of relief. He was stuck at the edge of the center. If he went outside, he would be discovered, and if he went inside, the fog would swallow him. He pursed his lips and fled in the opposite direction. It's more important to find a place to hibernate. Ling Yan, I'll remember you. Hu Ben, who had been thrown out by Shaylin, had woken up a long time ago. He was an experienced and mature man, but his heart was terrified. He fled desperately, fearing that Ling Yan's beast husband would chase and kill him. If I go back to the tribe, they will have no reason to attack. Anyway, I didn't do anything. Mo Huan and Lin Xuan followed Hu Ben from a distance, watching him run and crawl towards the tribe. Why don't we just kill him? Mo Huan was confused. Bai Xing said he had just beaten him during the day. If Hu Ben died at night, what would the beasts of the tribe think about Yan Yan? Mo Huan suddenly realized. Hu Ben ran back to the tribe, collapsed on the ground, and felt that he had saved his life. Look, Bai Xing is a hypocrite. Without proof, he doesn't dare to attack me. He didn't know that his countdown to death had begun. On the other side, Ling Yan saw his two beast husbands at the door and rushed to greet them. You're finally back. If you didn't come back, I would ask Bai Xing to look for you. Don't worry. Mo Huan looked at him, and his heart felt inexplicably relieved. That's what happened. The scorpion escaped. Mo Huan told Ling Yan about the fight with the scorpion beast. This kind of thing can't be hidden so that Ling Yan would be on guard. It seems that Hu Ben really colluded with the stray beast, Ling Yan said. Mo Huan suddenly remembered that 2 years ago, he had killed a group of stray beasts from another continent. A scorpion escaped at that time, but this one's aura was completely different. The next few days were very peaceful. Hu Ben met Bai Hang and the others in the tribe, and everyone ignored him. This made him completely sigh in relief, feeling that he had passed the test. Yesterday, that is, today, Bai Hang took the hunting team out to hunt. Hu Ben also followed. He felt that Bai Hang would not dare to attack him in plain sight of everyone. Bai Hang ordered the beasts to disperse, to scare away the wild beasts from the surroundings and then catch them all together. All the beasts went deep into the forest. Hu Ben stayed lounging in the grass, cursing Bai Hang for being a hypocrite. Scaring away prey can be done by low-level beasts, why bother all of us? Suddenly he felt the ground shaking, and a thick snake tail quickly passed by. It's that snake beast from Lingyan. He immediately ran towards the team of beasts, but he didn't find any beasts. He thought that if he ran to the tribe or met other beasts, he would be safe. How would Bai Xing give him a chance? He had already led the hunting team in the opposite direction. Lin Chuan and Mo Huan blocked the way back to the tribe and the hunting team. At this moment, he might have a small chance to live, but no chance to survive. Hu Ben could only run in the opposite direction. He ran towards a cliff, below which was a river. As soon as he jumped into the water, his limbs and body were wrapped by the snake's tail and dragged into the depths. After a long time, the energy of the dead beast attracted a large group of piranhas. Soon, the river surface was stained red with blood. Lin Chuan and Mo Huan left quietly from the other side. He drowned. We didn't kill him. Even if the priest asks the beast god, it has nothing to do with us. The disappearance of Hu Ben didn't cause much of a stir in the tribe. The priest asked the beast god, but didn't receive any clear instructions. Everyone gradually forgot. At this time, it was normal for beasts to go out hunting and encounter danger. Ling Yan wasn't even affected. He didn't leave his cave and didn't know that Hu Ben had died. In the following days, the few beast husbands entered a high-intensity storage mode. The dried meat, dried fish, and dried fruit being dried at the cave entrance were impressive. Everyone was busy at this stage, and no one noticed that Mo Huan was accumulating energy for hibernation. Bai Xing was busy drying all kinds of meat. As for Qi Hua, he was doing whatever he wanted. Only Lin Chuan hadn't returned for 2 or 3 days. Aheng, will Lin Chuan come back today? Ling Yan saw that it was getting dark outside and still didn't see Lin Chuan, so he couldn't help but ask again. Don't worry, he's a flying beast. Bai Xing comforted him. Ling Yan understood. With Lin Chuan's strength, if he couldn't beat someone, he could at least escape. At that moment, Qi Hua came in with a large ball of something white. Ling Yan was surprised. Qi Hua, this is cotton, right? Cotton? What cotton? This is a white clump. Qi Hua looked confused. Ling Yan couldn't hear anything else. He touched it and knew it was cotton. It didn't matter if he called it cotton or a white clump. As long as it was this, it was fine. He was already fantasizing about how happy he would be in winter, wrapped in a large cotton blanket. Qi Hua's face instantly turned red. Yes, it's for you. Yan, let go. It's for me to use. Ling Yan was even more perplexed. Even if they didn't wear clothes, they could use beast skin blankets. Qi Hua's face turned so red it could drip blood. Yan, what are you saying? How can a male use this? Ling Yan looked at Qi Hua, who had suddenly turned red, and realized that something was wrong. The situation is not what I thought. Bai Xing rushed to save the situation. After all, he was a mature man, not as naive as Qi Hua. Yan, this is for females to use when they are bleeding during estrus. Bai Xing looked at Ling Yan and explained. Most females go into estrus during the rainy season, which is when the probability of getting pregnant is high. If they get pregnant during the rainy season, they will generally give birth in the silent season or the windy season when there is enough food and the survival rate of the cubs is high, Ling Yan instantly realized. He muttered to himself, the females in the beast world are great. The rule only comes once a year. Did I come from another world? Do I have to follow the rules of the beast world? The last time he had his period was before he traveled. He arrived in the beast world in the silent season. Now the windy season had already passed halfway. A day in the beast world was longer than a day in the modern world. It had been at least 4 or 5 months, and he hadn't had his period. Late? Could I be pregnant? He shuddered. What if I really am pregnant? Would I be born as a human or a beast? If I gave birth to an animal, help! He couldn't imagine the scene of giving birth to a lion or a snake. Bai Xing saw that he wasn't saying anything for a long time, and that the expression on his face was constantly changing. He rushed to take his hand. Yan, what's wrong? Ling Yan came back to his senses and looked at Qi Hua. Qi Hua, help me see if I'm pregnant. He had forgotten that he had a family doctor at home. Just now he was worried that there were no hospitals in the beast world to check. Qi Hua took his hand, and a bright green energy flowed into his body. After a moment, Qi Hua withdrew his hand. Yan, you're not pregnant. Ling Yan let out a sigh of relief. Then he wanted to ask why he hadn't had his period, but he didn't want to expose his hidden card. Qihua, is there anything wrong with my body? Qihua shook his head. You're very healthy, but your physical condition is weaker than other females. Ling Yan took a deep breath and asked, what form are the cubs when they are born? Male cubs are beasts, and female cubs are humans. Although Qihua thought he was asking something common sense, he answered honestly. Yan, it's difficult to conceive a female. A male is easier. Qihua was afraid that he had high hopes and explained it in advance. If you really conceive, it's likely that you'll give birth to a small animal. Lang Yan couldn't help but tremble. The protagonist just arrived in the beast world, and the matchmaker has assigned him 6 beast husbands. With a flash of golden light, 6 beast marks appeared on his body at the same time: snake, fox, wolf, golden lion. 6 beast husbands were packaged and sent to the 5 tribes. The first young master, Bai Xing, quickly went into service and became his first beast husband. Not long after, the 8th realm cold-blooded snake, Mo Han, also came forward to propose marriage. Lin Chuan from the Wind Shadow tribe and Qihua from the Tian Yue Red Fox tribe also arrived. For some reason, Yingzi, who was bloodthirsty, was slow to act. The strangest thing is that the golden lion from the Beast Wang city directly refused to be paired. Is this moral decay or the perversion of animal nature? Please continue to follow Yaya in the beast world. Aheng, Mohan has also hibernated. Is the cold season approaching? Ling Yan asked softly. Yes, it's tonight. Bai Xing looked at Ling Yan. Do you feel unwell? Ling Yan shook his head. I don't know, I just feel a strong sense of unease. While thinking, he touched the white wolf's beast mark on his waist. Ling Yan's heart tightened. Aheng, if the cold season arrives, will males be able to survive in the wild? Bai Xing didn't know why he was asking that, but he answered honestly. If they are in the wild tonight, they will not survive. Bai Xing added, if they adapt for a while, beasts from the 7th realm and up can walk in the wild. Ling Yan let out a sigh of relief. I hope he's smart enough to find a nearby tribe to hide in before he sets off. But, obviously, his not-so-smart male wasn't that smart. Yingzi had traveled non-stop for more than 10 days, and with the injuries he had suffered before, his body had reached its limit. He lay on the ground, looking at the red leaves and the blue sky around him. I can only get this far. I'm really unwilling. I finally left the tribe, but I still can't control my own destiny. Tears rolled down his eyes against his will. Yingzi closed his eyes in despair. A snowflake gently fell on his face. Ling Yan poked his head out and saw the falling snowflakes outside, and he raised his hand to catch one. Bai Xing came over and said softly, It's snowing. The temperature will drop quickly. Let's go inside. Ling Yan nodded and followed Bai Xing back inside. Lin Chuan and Qihua blocked the exit with the stone slab they had prepared and hung a thick beast skin curtain. The few beast husbands saw that his mood wasn't good since the temperature started to drop, and they thought he was worried about the cold, so they came over to comfort him. Ling Yan didn't want to let down their kindness and tried hard to cheer up, but his fingers still subconsciously stroked the beast mark on his waist. Qihua saw him covering his waist and asked with concern, Yan, do you feel unwell? Yan, did you feel something? Bai Xing asked. I don't know. I'm just very nervous. Ling Yan couldn't explain this feeling. It was like the panic that he would lose something at any moment. Did he come? How about I go out and look for him? Bai Xing proposed. No, Lin Chuan stopped him immediately. You can't sense his location. Let's wait a little longer. Ling Yan tried to perceive the beast mark with all his strength. Apart from a stronger panic, there was no other information. Not far away, there was a white wolf lying on the ground. His eyes were full of sorrow, and his mouth was moving as if he was saying something. But Ling Yan couldn't get close and couldn't hear anything. The snow fell and covered his body. In the distance, the sound of ice and snow freezing was heard. Get up, I'm here, get up, Ling Yan cried, but it was no use. Ling Yan watched helplessly as he closed his eyes and was covered by the ice and snow. Ling Yan woke up abruptly from the nightmare. He took a long breath. Fortunately, it was just a dream. The few beast husbands were relieved to see him wake up. Ling Yan drank a couple of sips of water to calm himself down. How long did I sleep? Not long. You started crying as soon as you fell asleep, and we couldn't wake you up no matter how much we called. Bai Xing's eyes were full of worry. Did Yan have a nightmare? Chihua also asked with concern. Ling Yan looked at the void. I watched him die before my eyes, and I couldn't do anything. Chihua wanted to ask more, but Bai Xing interrupted him. Don't be afraid. Dreams are not real. Ling Yan sat by the bonfire, looking at the entrance, not knowing what he was waiting for. I just want to wait a little longer. Suddenly, several beast roars were heard outside. The few beast husbands instantly became alert. Soon, the noise got closer and closer. The beast mark on Ling Yan's waist became red hot. Aheng! Open the door quickly! The stone slab at the entrance was pushed aside, and his eyes met that pair of blue eyes. Aheng! Can I know your name? His heart, which had been uneasy all night, suddenly calmed down at that moment. But the next second, his smile froze on his face. That figure slowly closed his eyes and fell to the ground. Quick, quick, he's dying! Chihua jumped up in anxiety. You useless fox, why are you jumping so much? You're the only one who can heal in the entire cave. Hurry up and don't make Yan Yan worry, Lin Chuan cursed. The few males surrounded the male who was on the ground, between life and death, not knowing what to do. Chihua, can you do it or not? Lin Chuan saw that Chihua had been healing for a long time, but the breath of the beast on the ground had become weaker. Why don't you come? Chihua rolled his eyes. I'm only a 6th realm. This wolf is almost in the 8th. The fact that I can keep him alive is already an honor for the Tianyue fox tribe. Stop arguing. Chihua, does the beast core work? Bai Xing asked. It works, but he can't wake up, so he can't absorb it. Chihua scratched his head. Then he added, besides, he has very serious external wounds. It was caused by the mandrake vine. The beast core can't heal that either. Mandrake vine? What is that? Bai Xing asked. Are there also wounds that the beast core can't heal? Chihua said, it's a special vine from the northern continent. It's covered with tiny thorns. Wounds caused by it can only heal on their own. However, What? Bai Hang asked. If my half-life flower is ground into ointment and applied to the wound, it can heal, said Chihua. Then bloom. Lin Chuan, who was impatient, couldn't stand the delays. Now I'm short on energy and can't turn into my human form. How can I apply the cream to him in my beast form? Chihua was furious. It's true, the fur of the beast is thick and hard, and you can't see the skin or the wounds. For a moment, everyone was at a loss. Ling Yan's eyes turned red. Aheng, light more bonfires. He thought the coma was due to the rapid drop in temperature. He carefully knelt down beside the snow wolf. Can you wake up? My name is Ling Yan. I don't know your name yet. I dreamed of you. You are exactly the same as in my dream. Ling Yan started rambling, and his voice gradually broke into sobs. Will he fall asleep like in my dream and not get up again? Don't cry. A hoarse voice was heard. The beasts came closer to see. He woke up! He woke up! Chihua was euphoric. He quickly stuffed a beast core under each of the wolf's paws. Quick, quick, absorb them. Absorb them all. The white wolf didn't move, but struggled to look at Ling Yan. Absorb them. Recover quickly, he whispered while looking at those sapphire blue eyes. Only then did the white wolf begin to absorb the beast cores. But as the beast cores got smaller, his expression became more and more painful. Chihua! Chihua! Look! Ling Yan was about to cry. Chihua's energy circulated through the white wolf's body, and he withdrew it. His 4 limbs were broken and deliberately misaligned. That's why it hurts so much for him to absorb the beast cores. Bai Xing was a little confused. With the recovery ability of beasts, even with broken bones, they heal immediately, unless an external force intentionally displaces the bones so they grow crooked. But this wolf is no longer treacherous. How strong must someone be to injure him like this? Chihua approached the white wolf and said, Brother Wolf, you have to transform into a human. Otherwise, I can't heal you. Hearing this, the wolf, who was trembling nonstop, took a few deep breaths and instantly transformed into a man. Drops of sweat ran down his forehead. My name is Yingze. The man lying on the ground struggled to get up. Stay still. Don't move. Ling Yan rushed to stop him. Are you hungry? He asked, looking at Yingze's cracked lips. Yingze wanted to deny it, but his stomach rumbled. His ears turned red immediately. I'll go make some meat soup, Bai Xing said, walking out the door. No, raw meat is fine. Yingze didn't want to bother them, since he hadn't contributed any value to the family and feared being despised. No, you're a patient now, Ling Yan said softly. Yan Yan, I already brought my flour. Shihua came in with a bowl of crushed half-flat flour sap. First, heal his external wounds. When he's better, we'll break his bones and set them back in place, he said with a warm face and sinister words. Ling Chuan also brought a bowl of hot water. Shihua and Ling Chuan helped him sit up and drink a little water. Yingzi lay down again, still in a daze. Since he woke up, everything felt unreal. It was the first time he had seen a female like this. Fragile, beautiful, and kind, even crying for a male. It was also the first time he had seen a family like this, where brothers helped each other instead of hindering each other. He knew how precious the semi-flat flower from the Silver Moon Lake tribe was. It was a sacred medicine for external wounds that only royalty had, and they used it to heal his wounds. The beast core was also given to him immediately so he could recover. They accepted him before he had created any value. He had only thought that seeing her once would be enough, but the warmth of that encounter made him long to live. Everyone calls you Yan Yan, Yingzi said only after the others had left. You can call me that too. Yan Yan is fine. Yan Yan, I'm from the Silver Snow Wolf tribe. My ability is healing and wood repair, Yingzi said in a low voice. Because of an accident I left 10 days ago. I had to rush, so Yingzi was afraid she would get angry about his delay. He was prepared to be rejected. Don't worry. Rest well. We'll talk when you're better. Ling Yan had a hunch that the accident was the reason for his delay, but there was no need to pry now that he was like this. Without realizing it, Ling Yan fell asleep, leaning against the wall. Bai Xing prepared the meat soup and, fearing he would wake her, poured it into a bowl for Yingzi and took it to him. Chihua took a pot of meat soup to provoke Mo Huan, but Ling Chuan grabbed him by the neck and brought him back. How bold of you to go provoke a hibernating snake. Luckily I saw you, or I'd have to pick up your remains. Ling Chuan was soaked in cold sweat. Aren't we all at home? Let's eat together. Under the glare of Bai Xing and Ling Chuan, Chihua fell silent. Yingzi found the scene amusing. 2 level 7 males pampering a level 6 male, who also dared to provoke a level 8. In his tribe, everything was based on strength. The strongest worked less and ate more. Here, the level 7 male cooked. Yingzi felt relaxed for the first time. He realized that you could eat well without fighting. The next day, Ling Yan slowly opened her eyes. Yan Yan, wake up. Eat something. She heard Bai Xing's smiling voice. Yan Yan, if you put my flour on him one more time, Yingzi's wounds will heal. Chihua was excited. Finally, there was someone in the house he could be useful to. Thank you, my little fox, Ling Yan praised. Yan Yan, I'm not little, Chihua said, unusually serious. Ling Chuan had made him see the day before that he couldn't let Yan Yan see him as a cub. Ling Yan raised an eyebrow, wondering who had given him that advice, but she wasn't treating him like a child, just having fun with him. Then I'll say it again. My big fox is incredible. Chi Shuiwa was overjoyed and ran to brag to Ling Chuan. Ling Yan laughed watching them. Chihua was the joy of the house, and with him, every day was lively. Soon, several days passed, and Yingzi's wounds healed completely, and his energy recovered. He transformed into his animal form and lay on an animal skin in the male's room. Yan Yan, Bai Xing called softly. We have to break Yingzi's limbs again so that Chihua can set them and they can heal. Could you go out for a while? Bai Xing was afraid it would scare her. Yan Yan, I'll be fine soon. Go play for a while. Yingzi didn't want her to see him in that vulnerable state. Since the male said so, Ling Yan didn't insist. Then I'll go out. If it hurts, scream. This is it, Shihua said to Bai Xing. You hit, I'll repair it with my ability. Ling Chuan held him down. Yingzi looked at the males around him. In the past, with his proud character, he would not have allowed himself to be subdued by others, even with serious injuries. But now, for Yan Yan, he was willing to accept it. It doesn't matter if I live or die. As he thought, a sharp pain shot through his front paws. Unprepared, he couldn't help but scream. You could have warned me first. The next second, his wood ability wrapped around and repaired the limb. He felt his claw, which had been numb, regain its agility. Yingzi gritted his teeth in pain, but didn't make another sound. He thanked the 3 of them. Don't thank me yet. We're not finished, Shihua joked while using his ability. With a strong blow from Bai Xing, the bone on the other side also broke. This time, Yingzi was prepared and didn't make a sound, just a whimper that betrayed his pain. Ling Chuan, who was ready to hold him, was left with nothing to do. He admired the wolf. He's worthy of the wolf tribe. He's tough on himself. Ling Yan waited anxiously outside, afraid to go in suddenly and distract them. Of course! Broken bones need bone soup to recover. She decided to try her theoretical cooking skills. Lingyan ran to the kitchen, added water to the pot, and got ready to go to the pantry to get bones. Why is there still water? She thought they would have to use snow, but the water in the house had not been cut off. Never mind, the bones first. Half an hour later. What are you doing, Yan Yan? Ling Chun appeared behind her, just in time. Help me split this bone. Fist size is fine. She was thinking about how to split it, and help arrived. Ling Chuan transformed, cleaned his claws, and got to work. Following Ling Yan's instructions, he washed his hands before cutting. In a few seconds, Ling Chuan had split it. You don't need to add a lot of seasonings for it to be delicious. Ling Yan only added ginger to remove the smell. Yan Yan, this big pot, is it just for Yingze? Ling Chuan asked casually. No, it's for everyone. It's good for the cold. Shall we go see Yingze? The two of them went to Yingze's room. Seeing him with his eyes closed, not moving, Ling Yan asked worriedly, What's wrong with him? Is he okay? It's nothing. He just fainted from the pain. Don't worry, Shihua said lightly. When he wakes up, he'll absorb a high-level beast core and he'll be fine. Baixing, seeing Ling Yan's expression, comforted her. Shihua also noticed the tension. Yes, that's what I meant. Yan Yan, don't worry, he's fine. With Shihua's ability, Yingze recovered quickly. After all, he was level 7, and his physical condition was excellent. Ling Chuan gave him a beast core. Absorb it. Yingze hesitated for a moment, accepted it, and said, Thank you, I'll return it soon. Ling Chuan laughed. Our family is not like the Silver Snow Wolf tribe. Accept it. Yingze nodded. I know. I'll return it. He closed his eyes and mobilized his energy to absorb it. The numbness and pain of the dislocated bones disappeared. The feeling of stagnant energy in his body also went away. Yingze slowly opened his eyes. Yan Yan, I'm fine. Ling Yan, who had always believed in science, was amazed every time she saw something like this. This was truly a miraculous medicine. Are you really okay? Beast cores are so effective, Ling Yan exclaimed. Yan Yan, not only are beast cores effective, I am too. Chihua complained that Ling Yan only praised the beast core. Of course I know my big fox is the most useful. Ling Yan stroked Chihua's head, praising him. Chihua was very happy. His mother had told him that he had to do things that the female would see and hear to make her like him more. Yan Yan, the one Yingze absorbed was level 7, that's why he healed quickly. And unless a male is extremely strong, he can't kill an animal of his same level or a higher level by himself. Baixing knew that Ling Yan lacked knowledge and explained it so as not to confuse her. Ling Yan nodded. It made sense. Such a miraculous object couldn't have no limitations. Everything in nature has its own balance. Chihua wiggled his nose. I think I smell something delicious. Ah, my soup! Ling Yan ran to the kitchen. She lifted the wooden lid and the rich aroma of the bone soup spread. Chihua poked his head in. Yan Yan, did you make meat soup? It's bone soup. More nutritious. She looked at him, smiling. Is it for Yingze? Chihua lowered his head. Why does everyone ask the same thing? It's for everyone. Help me get the bowls. Ling Yan seasoned the soup and asked Baixing to cut some green onion. Soon, several large bowls of bone soup were on the table. Yan Yan, it's delicious. Chihua became a flatterer. Then I'll make it again when I have the chance. She also enjoyed that feeling of accomplishment. You can sit and play. You just have to enjoy us taking care of you, said Baixing, looking at Ling Yan. Yan Yan is much more talented than Chihua. Ling Chuan added. Chihua got up with a mischievous smile, ready to attack, but Ling Chuan turned, defending himself. Yingze watched them laugh, eating his soup. In his tribe, not even the most pampered male could eat with the females, much less chat so relaxed. After the meal, everyone sat around the bonfire. A male was eating some dried meat they had stored, crunching as if they were potato chips. Ling Yan craved it. Dried meat, the perfect snack for watching shows. Although there were no shows now, she wanted to try it. Don't bite it so hard. You might break a tooth. Ling Chuan gave her a small piece. How am I going to break a tooth with that? That's an exaggeration. Ling Yan took a bite, but couldn't bite it. She tried again and gave up. Ling Chuan was right. Yingze, upon hearing about the tooth, was startled. Ling Chuan said something like that and she didn't get angry. He remembered that once, a male advised the female to eat less fruit, and the other males beat him and didn't give him food for 3 days. Afterwards, the female got sick from eating too much fruit, and they beat the male again, saying he had cursed her. Since then, the male's health worsened. He was only level 5, without the ability to hunt higher-level animals. The day he died, Yingzhe went to ask his mother for a level 6 core, but he couldn't see her. When he asked the other males, they told him, that useless person who does nothing is finally going to die. The son of a useless person is another useless person. Exactly like his father. Yingzhe didn't remember how many humiliations he suffered that day. He only remembered his father's body, which was getting cold in his arms, and his last words, "If you have a chance, get out of here." Yingzhe clenched his fists. His gaze became fierce, as if he wanted to devour the whole world. Shihua, seeing Yingzhe's expression, got scared and trembled. "Brother Wolf, we only broke a few bones. You don't hold a grudge, do you?" He is Yingzhe, the silver snow wolf, the 5th male of the protagonist, who traveled through 3 mountains and 9 mountain ranges to get to that predestined meeting. When the door of the tiger tribe's cave opened, Yingzhe's heart beat stronger than a snowstorm. He finally saw his mate. At that moment, the whole world fell silent, as if only the 2 of them existed on Earth. "May I know your name?" Currently, 5 of the 6 males have arrived. The golden lion from Beast City is the only one missing. But why does he refuse to mate? Is it moral degeneration or a perversion of bestiality? Stay tuned to the Beast Pressures. Inside the cave, Ling Yan sat next to Yingzhe. "Did you face any danger on the way? Why are you so injured?" Bai Xing said that Yingzhe was no less strong than him, but he arrived with serious injuries in the middle of winter. Yingzhe was surprised. "My external wounds were from a fight in my tribe, but my limbs were from an ambush on the way." "You're already a level 7? And why did you fight in your tribe?" Ling Yan got angry. "Yan, the males of our silver snow wolf tribe almost never mate with females from outside," Yingzhe said in a low voice. "Why?" Ling Yan was curious. "Aren't males not supposed to be able to reject their mate?" "Because the males of our tribe, from the moment they are born, are the property of the females of the tribe." "And what if the male accepts mating?" Ling Yan asked. "If they accept it, they lock them up until the beast mark disappears," Yingzhe said indifferently. "The beast mark can disappear?" Ling Yan was surprised. Yingzhe was also surprised. How does Yan not know that? But he still answered seriously. "If they don't mate, the mark disappears in the female's next mating." That's how it works." Ling Yan nodded. "And don't the locked up males try to rebel? There are many high-level males in your tribe." "With your strength, they wouldn't have beaten you like that. Our wolf tribe used to have a special gene that was absolute obedience to the leader's orders. After the leader disappeared, his daughter, the current priestess, inherited that ability. She has the power to suppress the males and can also use witchcraft to create cages." Yingzhe told her everything about his tribe without reservations. "The Wolf King's daughter? Is the current priestess a female?" Ling Yan asked. "Yes, the priestess and the leader are females," Yingzhe replied. Ling Yan understood. The Silver Snow Wolf tribe was now a complete matriarchy. It didn't matter how strong the males were. The real reason he left, besides the attraction of his mate, was his father. Maybe if he left the tribe, he could heal his wounds. "And how did you escape? According to what you're saying, your ability should have been repressed. You couldn't have escaped alone." When Ling Yan asked that, Yingzhe got nervous. "The leader's daughter let me go. She had chosen me a long time ago, and I was supposed to be hers when she matured. But when I mated with you, they locked me up. I didn't think I would get out alive, and I spent my time attacking the cage, and she let me go." Yingzhe finally didn't hide anything. Ling Yan felt bad. "What a childhood drama, the savior. Am I the villain? Do you like her? Why did you have to come look for me?" Ling Yan wanted to clarify. "Yan, you're wrong. She doesn't like me, nor do I like her. She chose me because I'm good at hunting," Yingzhe explained. "I didn't get very far when she stopped me with more than 10 males. My ability hadn't recovered yet, and they broke all 4 of my limbs." Ling Yan felt distressed. She could imagine how difficult the journey had been. Was the road very difficult? Ling Yan didn't know what to say. "When I got to the mountain, I had no strength left. I was ready to die, and I passed out. Suddenly, I woke up. In my dream, a little female was crying and asking me to get up. It was you. I knew it was you. At that moment, I only had one thought. I can't die. I have to survive. I can't make you feel bad." It was snowing. I transformed into my animal form and moved slowly, one step at a time, with an eagerness to give you the good news that I almost died. When the cave door opened, I finally saw you. Seeing that you were crying for me, I knew my choice was the right one. Time flew by, and winter was coming to an end. Is winter going to end? Lingyan started to sweat a little. It ends in 2 days. It ended much earlier this year, Baixing replied. Really? That's great. I can finally go out for some fresh air. She was happy. Winter is shorter this year, which means summer will be longer. I don't know if Yanyan's body can handle it. We have to plan ahead, Baixing muttered to himself. Aheng, Lingyan shook Baixing's arm. Is Mohuan going to wake up? Come with me to see him. The two of them went into Mohuan's cave together. Mohuan's position was the same, but for some reason, she felt he was about to wake up. Aheng, do you think he's going to wake up? Lingyan asked Baixing without turning around, not knowing if it was her imagination. Baixing was also seeing hibernation for the first time and couldn't answer with certainty. I don't know. Yanyan, do you feel something? Lingyan nodded. I have a feeling he's going to wake up soon. Then it must be so. Usually, the mate can feel the male's state through the mark, Baixing affirmed. Lingyan had a strong hunch that Mohuan would wake up. She sat quietly next to Mohuan. Baixing, you said that day. Suddenly, Mohuan's head shot up, and he opened his red eyes. Lingyan was startled by the snake, stumbling backward and almost screaming. Sorry, I scared you, Ayan. Mohuan transformed into a human immediately, his face full of guilt. You didn't scare me. I just didn't expect you to wake up suddenly, Lingyan said in a trembling voice. Let's go outside. Outside, Lingyan could see Mohuan well. After hibernating all winter, the dark aura that had faded returned to cover him. Baixing and the others took out large bundles of dried meat. Eat something. You've been hibernating all winter. Mohuan ate voraciously. Halfway through, he stopped. Did I eat that much? Is there enough left? Eat. The winter ended earlier this year, Baixing said, looking at Mohuan. Mohuan stopped for a moment and continued eating. Obviously, he also knew what it meant for winter to end early. What are the plans? Mohuan asked after eating. We plan to leave to spend the summer, but we have to ask Yanyan, Baixing replied. He nodded. Then he turned to Yingze. Hello, Mohuan, Black Jade Snake. Yingze, Silver Snow Wolf, Yingze replied. Upon hearing Silver Snow Wolf, Mohuan frowned and looked at Baixing. Seeing that he nodded, indicating that Lingyan knew, Mohuan didn't say anything else. If Ayan is happy, that's fine. Days later, the ice and snow began to melt. With a loud rumble, the roar outside grew more intense. Lingyan was a little scared. Is it safe with so much water? Don't worry. This will last 2 or 3 days. When the water goes down, everything will be fine. Baixing comforted her. Normally, a safe place is chosen for the tribe, and most of the beasts live in the mountains. Every year, some die from the floods, but it's fewer than those who die from the cold. Seeing her males so calm, Lingyan also relaxed. The family sat in a small circle in the cave, listening to the roar of the water, eating peanuts and chestnuts. Yanyan, the winter has been shorter this year, which means the summer will be longer, Baixing said. Lingyan nodded. Baixing wouldn't say that for no reason. She indicated for him to continue. So, do you want to go to another tribe to spend the summer? The White Tiger tribe has a water shortage in the summer, and that's the reason Baixing wanted to take her somewhere else. Yes. When she arrived, she didn't like to go out, but after a winter locked up, her heart was already outside. If the males said it wasn't a good place to spend the summer, she wouldn't insist. Baixing didn't expect Lingyan to accept so quickly. Then he said, there are 2 places. The first is Eagle's Horn, on the western continent. That is, Linchuan's tribe, which is near the sea and is very comfortable for spending the winter. But the road is long and you have to leave as soon as the floods recede. The second option is Lingdong City, near the north, which is also suitable for spending the winter and you can leave later. Lin Yan asked if Lingdong City was Yingze's tribe. No, my tribe is at the foot of the snowy mountain and does not accept outsiders, Yingze replied with a deep look. There are few tribes in the north. Besides Yingze's tribe, the others are distributed around Lingdong City. Lingdong City is just a meeting place for females from the continent who spend the winter. Every year, many beastmen gather there, and various markets are held where specialties can be exchanged. Bai Hang detailed. A place to escape the heat and a market. It sounds very interesting, Lin Yan exclaimed. So, Shall we go to Lingdong City? Bai Hang asked. The others also looked at Lin Yan. Is there any difficulty if we go to the coast? Lin Yan asked. She still wanted to eat seafood. As a child from the north, she had an obsession with them. It will take a little more time, Ayan. You can go wherever you want, said Mo Huan. In this world, a level 8 is not the peak of a beastman, but so far there is no level 9 in the entire continent. In addition, the other 3 are also first-level existences within level 7. Going anywhere is not a boast. Then, I want to go to the coast, Lin Yan decided. Okay, then we will go to Yingjie, Bai Hang confirmed the next plan. Several beast husbands nodded. Is Yingjie fun? Lin Yan touched Lin Chuan's arm. Yes, at the bottom of the cliff there is a field of flowers. I will take you there. Then, Lin Chuan replied. And do you fish? Lin Yan asked. We usually rarely fish. We hunt on land. The sea is the territory of the sirens, Lin Chuan said. However, the little females can go play on the seashore. The siren tribe is very friendly. Are there really sirens? Are they all very beautiful? Lin Yan didn't expect such a pleasant surprise. Sirens! I want to see them! Upon hearing that Lin Yan wanted to see sirens, her companions instantly worried. When we see them, you'll know, Lin Chuan replied. Okay. She nodded obediently. Then let's keep the mystery. On the morning of the 4th day, the floods receded and the world returned to tranquility. Lin Yan woke up in the morning and stood at the door to take a deep breath, feeling refreshed. She looked at the sky and saw a huge disk emitting a dazzling glow. This sun didn't feel as distant as in Langson, but it seemed that she could touch it if she flew a little higher. It was big and dazzling, and inexplicably it scared her. There are still 2 more. I don't even want to imagine it. Lin Yan felt that this environment was like surviving in an apocalypse, but with several beast husbands, the difficulty was reduced to baby mode. As long as I don't do stupid things, there shouldn't be any big problems. Don't stare at the sun. You'll feel uncomfortable, Bai Hang said, interrupting her thoughts. Is summer that hot, Ahen? Lin Yan asked. It's barely morning, and it's already so hot. At noon it will surely exceed 30 degrees. It won't always be that hot. There will be continuous rain later. Although it won't affect the hunting of the beastmen, we have to find a place to take shelter when we travel, Bai Hang explained. Lin Yan nodded. When do we leave? She stood at the door and felt the breeze. Although she knew that the outside world was full of unknowns, her heart already longed for freedom. In 2 days. In these 2 days, we can pack and say goodbye to our friends, Bai Hang asked for her opinion. You decide, Lin Yan nodded. She also had to let Duoya know. She woke up from a nap and found that the house was silent. Where are Chihua and the others? She looked at Chihua, who was curled up next to her. Bai Hang went to look for the tribe leader, and Mo Huan and the other 3 went hunting, Chihua replied. My big fox has accompanied me. Thank you for your work, said Lin Yan, smiling. She knew that the beastmen, after being cooped up all winter, would surely want to go out and run, and it was difficult for Chihua to stay. But Chihua didn't agree. Being able to accompany you alone, Yan Yan, is something I fought for. It's not a difficult job. On the other hand, Bai Hang went to the tribe leader. AFU, Yan Yan has also decided to spend the summer in the sea area this year. We're leaving the day after tomorrow. You're the first beast husband, Ahen. You must protect your female well when you go out, said Bai He seriously. On the other hand, Mo Huan and the other 3, after hunting, headed west to investigate. What are we looking for? Yingzi was a little confused, following Mo Huan in a run. A level 8 scorpion beastman. He knows Yan Yan's name, Mo Huan was focused. It's better to eliminate potential threats before we leave. Yingzi, upon hearing this, his gaze lit up and he also sniffed the air for the scorpion beastman. They searched for a long time but found no trace of him. Lin Chuan circled around and returned to them. There's nothing. Do we keep looking? Let's go back. If we delay any longer, Yan Yan will worry, said Mo Huan. Perhaps those beastmen have already left. Mo Huan was full of unease. He knew very well the vicious nature of cold-blooded beastmen. Once they set their sights on something, it's life or death. And the scorpion beastman they were talking about, Shilan, was hidden under a puddle of water, shedding his skin. He wasn't moving, evidently. Something had gone wrong, and that's precisely why his aura was hidden, and Mo Huan and the other 3 didn't find him. Until the three of them left the forest, Shallan struggled to get out of the pit, cursing and muttering. "That stupid bastard! He ripped off my tail stinger, making my skin shedding irregular every time. Killing him would be too little for him." Shallan, complaining, didn't realize that he had just narrowly escaped death. 2 days later, Lin Yan, sitting on a tiger's back, left the tribe. On the way, they met several females who were also preparing to leave. Lin Yan looked back at Bai Hang, and he, knowing what was happening, stopped. She felt some emotion. She had spent 2 seasons in the White Tiger tribe and had developed a certain sense of belonging. But since she had come, it was time to unlock new maps. With her spirits renewed, she patted Bai Hang and they set off. The group went into the forest. "Yan Yan, what did your beast husband tell you?" asked Duoya, who was pregnant, to her beast husband who had just arrived next to her. The group had left, and Lin Chuan had caught up with them. He only said 2 sentences to Yanji before flying off. Yanji handed Duoya a small leather bag. "Duoya, this is from the female Lin Yan for you. She told you to take care of yourself." Duoya, curious, opened it and found 2 level 7 crystals. By their quality, they must have been the best of level 7. Her eyes welled up a little. "Why is Yan Yan so good to me? She just gives away something so valuable. I can't accept it. Go and give it back to Yan Yan. Tell her I thank her very much, but it's too valuable." Duz put the small bag away and handed it to Yanji. The female Lin Yan said not to try to give it back. And besides, we can't catch up to her. She also said it's a gift to celebrate that you're going to be a mother. Yanji hugged her to comfort her. Duoya, after calming down a little, said, "Then keep it for me. Don't lose it," she said with a shaky voice. In the afternoon, Mohuan and the other 3 were hunting a level 8 beast. Level 8 beasts are rare and hard to find. Although they didn't know why a high-level beast would appear in the outer forests this season, since they had found it, there was no reason to let it escape. Shallan, upon seeing that his prey had been stolen, couldn't help but curse. Could it be that he and this snake beastman have a bad relationship? Whenever they meet, nothing good happens, and a cold-blooded beastman hunting with beastmen. The wolf is understandable, but that fox is very weak. He's really not picky. He wanted to see what female was so attractive that a level 8 cold-blooded beastman would be willing to work for her. Shallan followed the scent that Mohuan and the others left, chasing them. He found the valley where Lin Yan and her group were resting. A Fengyin clan beastman, a beast king, and a level 7 Bai Hang. Although he had hidden his aura, if he got closer, they would surely discover him. Shallan decided to observe them from afar. He climbed a nearby giant tree and watched silently. Lin Yan didn't know she was being spied on. After eating, she rolled up her pants and washed the bowls at the river's edge. Suddenly, she had a mischievous idea and scooped up a handful of water, splashing Lin Chuan. Lin Chuan, caught by surprise, was splashed. Below, harmony reigned, but Shallan in the tree gnashed his teeth. "Ah! A level 7 beastman gets splashed by a female and can't even dodge! How useless!" As he became emotionally agitated, his aura leaked a little. Bai Hang and Lin Chuan were immediately alerted. They protected Lin Yan, one on her left and one on her right. "What's wrong?" Lin Yan was confused. They had been playing so well. "The aura of other beastmen, a level 8, Bai Hang replied. Shallan, seeing that he had been discovered and that they were in a defensive position, also got angry. Just as he was about to show himself, he felt movement behind him. "If I don't leave now, they'll surround me." Shallan snorted and went underground. "Lin Yan, we'll meet again." Mohuan and the others arrived quickly. "The Scorpion Beastman! He appeared again!" Mohuan gnashed his teeth a little. Earth Beastmen are good at escaping. And that guy also has the ability to hide his aura. He will be more difficult to deal with. Lin Yan had also heard that Hufin sold himself to the Wandering Beastmen. Hufin died so long ago, I didn't expect that this matter still hadn't been resolved. "It's really problematic," Mohuan stroked her head. "Don't worry. Even though those beastmen are level 8, their abilities seem to have some problem. They are good at escaping, but their fighting power isn't strong. We will protect you well." Mohuan is right. From today on, at least 3 people will stay by Yan Yan's side, Bai Hang organized. Lin Yan didn't expect that her trip, planned for eating, drinking, and having fun, would be hampered on the first day. When one moves through the world, they can't avoid problems. "It's not a big problem." Mohuan gave Lin Yan today's crystal. "Today we ran into a level 8 beast, We killed it and we got this. After that, Lingyan had had enough of appreciating them. She took out her box. You've worked hard. She smiled sweetly at Mohan, Linchuan, and Chihua. Chihua, however, was a little embarrassed. He scratched his head. Yan, I didn't do much. But you still helped, she said, patting his ear. My big fox is also very powerful. This was the truth. Given Chihua's rank and his being a witch doctor, with some females, he could have been a first beast husband. It was just that her other mates were such powerful individuals that he seemed a bit weaker in comparison. Chihua's eyes lit up again. The other beast husbands had no other thoughts. Chihua was young and had great talent, so it was a matter of course for him to advance to a higher tier in 2 years. On the other side, someone's mentality was collapsing. The running Shalon lay in a temporarily commandeered animal cave, feeling that he was about to go crazy. When he closed his eyes, the female named Lingyan would be laughing in his mind. When he came to, he found that the corners of his mouth were also turned up. No, what's so funny? Shalon hit his face hard. Shalon was so angry that he sat up directly, his teeth almost shattered. He wanted to get as far away from the southern continent as possible. That female had used witchcraft. Lingyan, of course, had no idea that she had been labeled with witchcraft. Lingyan and her party found a tree hole and decided to spend the night there. The other beasts outside were resting in shifts. Since the ones who had leaked the news had already shown their faces, they wouldn't launch a sneak attack at night. But who would have thought that the guy everyone was wary of was now almost escaping from the southern continent? Shalon ran wildly, his mind filled with the female's clear laughter. He felt that he was probably crazy. Suddenly, Shalon stopped, his guard up. There are beasts ahead. Ha ha ha! Scream! No one will come to save you, no matter how much you scream. Along with the female's sobbing, arrogant words came, Help! Help! The female cried out in despair. The several boorish males around laughed even more heartily. Don't cry, little beauty. Come with us and have babies for us. We stray beastmen know how to be gentle with people. Come with us, and we'll guarantee it'll be more comfortable than with those useless males of yours. The lewd words kept coming. Shalon couldn't stand it anymore. It's these scumbags again, ruining the reputation of stray beastmen. He released his 8th tier beast pressure, and the originally arrogant beastmen instantly seemed to have their throats squeezed, and they fell silent. Under Shalon's power suppression, the leader of the stray beasts immediately begged for mercy. Master! Please spare us! We didn't abduct a female. We were just passing by. Shalon didn't say a word, but walked out of the shadows. The stray beast's eyes lit up when he saw him. So it's a cold-blooded beast, Master. Then the other party's goal must be the same as his. He's taken a fancy to this female. Master, you can have this female first. Before the stray beast could finish his sentence, he was kicked over a dozen meters away by Shalon. Shalon originally wanted to kill these guys, but the 7 or 8 males lying on the ground caught his attention. These must be the female's beast husbands. These males had no wounds but were motionless, yet they were still alive. Shalon was a little curious. He kicked each one, but there was no response. He looked at a stray beast. Did you do this? The stray beast swallowed. The truth is, our boss brought a medicine from Beast King City. It can knock out males below the 7th tier, but it's useless against females. Interesting. There's something like this. He suddenly had an idea. Do you have any more? Yes, the stray beast quickly replied, afraid of being kicked away again. Beast King City! Shalon's eyes rolled. Jing Yu, that lion, can make this kind of thing. Whatever, it's none of my business. It's not important. Shalon took the bamboo tube and released his beast pressure. Why are you fine? But they're passed out. The stray beast was so scared he immediately pulled out another bamboo tube. We put on the antidote beforehand. Just as the stray beast thought he would live, a demonic whisper sounded again. Follow me. I have something for you to do. Shalon showed a sinister smile. Page 187.65 of the book recorded that ever since the 8th tier stray beast, Shalon targeted the female lead. Baihang and the others were on tenterhooks every day. This guy was an elusive phantom, unkillable and untraceable. He would just pop out and be disgusting, making the beast husband's teeth itch. But they couldn't do anything about him. But speaking of it, Shalon was actually quite wronged. Originally, their paths never crossed, but by some strange twist of fate, he became the nemesis of Baihang and the others. But was this cold-blooded Shallan really cold-blooded? At this moment, the seed of love that was quietly sprouting in his heart was changing him, little by little. The sun had set into the mountains. The group chose an animal cave to rest. "Today, we caught a Momo beast. I'll go roast some meat for you." Chiwa bounced to the bonfire. The group chatted and laughed, sitting around the fire, feeling quite at ease. Across a mountain, in another animal cave, a female who was resting was tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Who is so inconsiderate, roasting meat so late at night? She had never smelled such fragrant roasted meat in her life. She nudged the male next to her, who was snoring like thunder. "Get up, Shushu!" "What's wrong, Xiangda?" The male, Xiangda, groggily but quickly sat up. "I want to eat roasted meat." The little female, named Shushu, said coquettishly. "You wait right here. I'll go roast some now," Xiangda said, and started a fire. Shushu looked at the roasted meat she had in front of her, but couldn't bring herself to eat it. She sniffed the aroma in the air and took a bite with tears in her eyes. Xiangda was so anxious he stomped his feet. "Don't cry. Tell me what you want, Shushu." "I want to eat the fragrant roasted meat," Shushu cried out. Xiangda was in a difficult position. He, of course, knew where the smell came from, but that was the territory of an 8th tier and a 7th tier beast. As soon as they arrived, they released their beast pressure, clearly telling the nearby beasts not to be reckless. "Don't cry, Shushu. I'll go get you some," Xiangda said, getting up to leave the cave, but Shushu pulled him back. "I'm just a little greedy. It'll be fine in a while." Her previous beast husbands had lost their lives to wild beasts because she wanted to eat meat. She was afraid that something would happen to Xiangda as well. Okay, I won't go. Don't cry," Xiangda said with a gentle smile. Shushu cried for a while, and then slowly fell asleep. Xiangda carefully put her into the straw nest and then walked out of the animal cave. He used the moonlight to head in the direction of the fragrant smell. The fat Xiangda's running made the ground shake, which was detected by several males. They all got up and became alert. Lingyan was a little nervous. She hadn't noticed anything. She squeezed Baihang's arm. Baihang comforted her. "It's okay, a 6th-tier beast has come. There's no danger." As soon as he finished speaking, a burly figure appeared in front of them. He said nervously, "Masters, I'm Xiangda from the Xiang tribe. May I trade for some roasted meat?" "Xiangda," Baihang repeated. He then asked, "Are you Xiangda from the Xiang tribe?" Xiangda was surprised to hear this. He tentatively asked, "Master, do you know me?" "I'm Baihang," Baihang replied. He knew this beast. He had heard of him during a hunt with the Xiang tribe. He was considered a powerful member of their tribe. "So it's Master Baihang," Xiangda scratched his head, feeling that his luck was really good. Even if he couldn't trade for roasted meat, at least his life was not in danger. He had long heard that the strongest person in the White Tiger tribe was named Baihang, who never bullied the weak. "Oh, you know each other? You had me so nervous at night," Chiho grumbled, turning his head and sitting down. "I brought my mate back to the tribe, and we are resting over in that mountain. My female smelled the aroma of your roasted meat, and she's pregnant and has a poor appetite." Xiangda didn't finish his sentence. Lingyan understood. He was trying to get some roasted meat for his female. Xiangda took out a small bowl. "This is Wenguang beast juice. It's very sweet, and our tribe's little females love to eat it. Can I trade this for your roasted meat?" Lingyan leaned in and sniffed it. It was honey. "Isn't this just honey? This world is so funny," she thought, laughing to herself. A cow is a Wenguang beast, a bee is a Wenguang beast, and a fish is a Qisi beast. It's not hard to understand anyway. Lingyan nodded in satisfaction. She really liked this Wenguang beast juice. On the other side, Shushu woke up and found that Xiangda was not there. She started to wail. Xiangda heard her crying and hurried to her side. "Shushu, try this!" Xiangda put a piece of meat to her mouth. The aroma of roasted meat filled her nostrils. Shushu took a big bite and, wiping her tears, said, "It's so delicious." Soon, a basin of roasted meat was at the bottom. Shushu held the last piece of meat and handed it to Xiangda. "You eat this piece." Xiangda swallowed his saliva. "No, you eat it. They also gave me some seasoning for the roasted meat. I can roast some for you too. Go ahead and eat it all." Shushu felt at ease and swallowed the last piece of roasted meat, smiling contentedly. The next day at noon, Lin Chuan landed by a river. "Let's rest here for lunch." Lingyan nodded. This is a great spot with a water source and shade. It's very comfortable. After lunch, Lingyan felt a little groggy and lay by the river, planning to take a nap. Baihang and Mohan suddenly became alert. They smelled the scent of that scorpion beast. Although the smell was faint, it was definitely him. The two beasts looked at each other and slowly headed towards the source of the smell. That beast is a threat. We must find and kill him. They slowly approached the bushes where the smell was coming from and found a stray beast inside. He was covered in wounds, but his scent was that of the scorpion. The stray beast, seeing that they had taken the bait, quickly recited his prepared lines. "Masters, please save my female." A scorpion beast abducted her. Baihang narrowed his eyes. There is indeed a faint scent of an unfamiliar female on these beasts. "Did you kill that scorpion beast?" Baihang asked. No, how could I have that ability? It seemed that his ability had a problem while fighting with us, and we were able to sneak attack him, but my companions were all seriously injured by him, and he was also not lightly hurt. Unfortunately, we couldn't kill him, the stray beast said, shaking his head and sighing. Are there any 7th-tier beasts among you? Baihang was clearly unconvinced. No, but we have a lot of hands, the stray beast said, cold sweat running down his face. These two beasts were too difficult to fool. He decided to try harder. That beast is in a cave not far ahead, recuperating. If you don't believe me, you can go and see for yourselves. Lead the way, Baihang said coldly. Since it's not far, we might as well go take a look, if there's really a chance to get rid of that beast. The stray beast was stunned. He was afraid they would make him lead the way, so he had cruelly broken his own legs. He had originally planned to use a beast's core to heal his wounds and run away once the two beasts were gone. The stray beast's eyes darted around. Masters, my legs are broken, and I'm not lightly injured. I'm afraid I'll delay your time. Mohan, however, didn't care about any of that. He threw a 5-tier beast core at him and flew over, grabbing him and preparing to leave. The stray beast never expected this snake beast to be so unconventional. He was so scared he peed himself. Master, I lied to you. I was forced into this. He quickly begged for mercy. If I admit my mistake now, there might still be a sliver of hope. If I keep stalling, these two beasts will definitely be buried without a grave. Mohan slammed the stray beast hard onto the ground. The stray beast, who was already about to fall apart from Shallan's kick, now coughed up a mouthful of blood. Shallan arranged for me to stall you here, the stray beast said, not daring to delay any longer, and immediately revealed Shallan's entire plan, afraid that he would be smashed into a meat paste if he was even a second late. Shallan was already scary enough, but this snake beast is even more terrifying. If I can survive this, I will stay far away from the southern continent and never come back again. Baihang and Mohan's faces instantly turned pale. Their goal was obvious. They needed to stall them. Mohan kicked the stray beast away without a word. The stray beast, lying on the ground, his pupils slowly losing focus, saw the backs of the two beasts, a tiger and a snake, quickly leaving. I was originally going to go back after I had had my fun, but I never expected that I would never be able to return to the eastern continent. At this moment, Lingyan's 3 beast husbands were lying on the ground, motionless. Lingyan's heart tightened. What did you do to them? Shallan didn't speak, just stared at her with a grin, as if enjoying her helplessness. Lingyan reached out and touched Chihuan next to her. He still had a pulse. She breathed a sigh of relief. It was that beast man again. Being stared at by him made her hair stand on end. Lingyan decided to take the initiative. Since he didn't come to kill her, there might still be room for negotiation. Baihang and Mohan should be back soon. She had to stall him. Ha 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 ha! You actually know me. Shallan threw his head back and laughed heartily, but inside he was overjoyed. Lingyan swallowed. What do you want? What are you trying to do? Shallan rested his head on his hand and thought, be my female. Shallan said it nonchalantly, but his hands behind his back were clenched tightly. Lingyan was stunned for a moment. She subconsciously refused. No, I don't want to. Shallan sneered. At least you're self-aware. Perhaps only he himself knew that after that moment of anticipation, there was a sea of disappointment. I want you to scratch Mohan's beast print. He said this viciously, his eyes glinting with a fierce light. Lingyan secretly realized. So he's here for Mohan. In your dreams! I won't scratch it. Shallan instantly became furious. He reached out and choked Ling Yan's neck. If you won't scratch it, then I'll help you. Ling Yan was being squeezed uncomfortably and couldn't help but cough a few times. Shallan quickly let go. Females are so delicate. He clenched his fingers, looking at the red marks on her neck. Females are such a pain. Ling Yan, following his force, fell to the ground. She hadn't felt too much malice from this beast, so she was a little off guard. Suddenly, a thunderball struck. Before Ling Yan could react, Mohan and Shallan were already fighting, their abilities flying everywhere. Mohan showed no mercy. Shallan didn't want to fight at first, but seeing the snake beast's aggressive attacks, he also became angry. He wasn't one to be scared. After dodging a few times, Shallan transformed into his beast form. A giant scorpion appeared in front of Ling Yan. The entire beast emanated a chilling aura. Shallan subconsciously looked at Ling Yan. Ling Yan was already startled by the giant scorpion, and when she was caught off guard by those two deep, black, compound eyes, she instantly fainted. This sudden turn of events made the few males freeze for a moment. Yan Yan is fine! Mohan, don't get distracted! Bai Hong, who was guarding Ling Yan, shouted. Mohan gritted his teeth. It's all this scorpion's fault for being so ugly. He scared Yan Yan unconscious. I must kill him. Shallan, however, suddenly fell into deep thought. Does she hate me that much? He was then hit hard by Mohan and sent flying. He finally came to his senses. This is how a cold-blooded beast man should be treated, isn't it? He looked at the charging Mohan. Not everyone is as lucky as a snake beast. While he was in a daze, a thunder-type ability hit his chest, and with the huge energy impact, he fell into the water. The serious injury triggered his life-saving mechanism. The moment he entered the water, his body slowly shrank into a cub form, and then into the size of a grain of sand. He fell into a pile of sand. For a moment, Shallan felt that dying like this wasn't so bad. He closed his eyes and sank to the bottom of the water. Mohan carefully searched every inch of the bottom of the water. Although he had dealt a fatal blow to Shallan, he felt that the beast wouldn't die that easily. But even if he's not dead, he probably won't be making any trouble for a while. He did one last search and, finding nothing, left the water. Mohan picked up a piece of a bamboo tube that the scorpion beast had dropped on the ground and went back to Ling Yan. Ling Yan was already awake, with only 3 males still lying side by side. It seemed Ling Yan was not doing well. Her eyes were a little empty, as if she was lost in a memory. Please watch the VCR. Because her parents died early, Ling Yan grew up with her grandmother and uncle. One hot and humid summer, when Ling Yan was 8, it was popular to catch wild scorpions in her hometown to sell for money. Her aunt and grandmother took her to help. The middle of the night was when scorpions were most active. Ling Yan, who had to go to school during the day, had no right to say no. However, she was small and had good eyesight back then. For those few days, her aunt was uncharacteristically nice to her. The little girl thought she had found her value and worked even harder. Her aunt, who had made a lot of money, was in a good mood for once and gave her 50 cents of pocket money. She thought she could finally replace her salvaged pencil stub. So when her cousin asked for the 50 cents to buy candy, she refused for the first time. As a result, when she lifted the covers of her bed in the storeroom to go to sleep, there were countless scorpions crawling all over it. Ling Yan no longer remembered how she felt at the time, only that, for many years afterward, she would wake up from nightmares of being surrounded and gnawed on by scorpions. For a long time, she didn't dare to sleep on a bed, didn't dare to use a blanket, and would frantically tidy up her bed before going to sleep. This memory had left a deep imprint on her heart. Today, when the scorpion appeared in front of her, the moment their eyes met, Ling Yan was instantly overwhelmed by a flood of fear. Quote, Yan Yan, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Bai Hong was heartbroken seeing her in a daze. I'm fine, I was just suddenly scared. Ling Yan actually wanted to say that the scorpion hadn't hurt her, but thinking of his beast form, she couldn't help but shiver. Why aren't the others waking up? Ling Yan looked anxiously at the 3 beast husbands on the ground. When I first got here, I was a little dazed too. It must be some kind of beastly trick. They must have been hit by it, Bai Hong explained. Mohan handed the small piece of wood he had found to Ling Yan. The beast deliberately left this behind before running away. I've checked. It's not poisonous. Ling Yan took it and saw that it was a section of a bamboo tube. She shook it and she could hear liquid sloshing inside. What is this? She looked at the 2 of them. Bai Hong looked at it. Quote, this is bamboo. It's unique to the Eastern continent. The Eastern continent? Could that person be from the Eastern continent? Ling Yan was shocked. She looked at the bamboo tube in her hand. Isn't this just a bamboo? She suddenly had a thought. Could this be an antidote? The two of them understood her meaning. Bai Hong took the bamboo tube and tasted it himself first. Ling Yan didn't have time to stop him. He had already swallowed it. After that, Bai Hong fed a mouthful to the three unconscious brothers. The three of them slowly woke up. Yan, what's wrong? Why did I suddenly fall asleep? Chihua stood up, and after running his energy, he paused. I've been poisoned, he said with certainty. The unfamiliar beast's scent in the air and the signs of a fight made it easy to figure out what had just happened. The few of them, who were all outstanding members of their respective tribes, tasted the bitter flavor of defeat for the first time. Their faces were full of guilt. Yan, are you okay? As a witch doctor, he was knocked out by poison. As a beast husband, he had been negligent in protecting his female. Chihua lowered his head in self-reproach. Chihua, do you know what kind of poison it is? Ling Yan was curious. Being able to silently knock out 3 high-tier beasts was definitely not a common poison. It seems to be a kind of half-life plant. The scent of the flower can make beastmen below the half-life tier fall into a deep sleep, Chihua said, closing his eyes and circulating his energy to carefully examine the residual medicine in his body. Then what is this? Bai Hong handed him the bamboo tube. This is the leaf of the half-life plant's stem. It has the effect of waking someone from a coma, Chihua said after his examination. I never expected one plant to have 2 uses. Can it only be cured with these leaves? Ling Yan asked. And why was I fine? If the dose is small, you'll wake up on your own after a long time, Chihua replied. The scent is ineffective against females, Ling Yan nodded. Quote, Chihua is quite a double standard. Did you smell anything at the time? The 3 beasts all shook their heads. We didn't sense any beast approaching, Lin Chuan said, a little embarrassed. Quote, that beast must have a special method of stealth. Even I didn't sense it, Mohan added. This wasn't to make excuses for the 3 of them, but just the truth. But their faces were all filled with guilt. It was their fault that Yan was in danger. I'm hungry, Ling Yan said, seeing the atmosphere becoming increasingly tense, and she broke the silence. I'll go cook. Hearing that she was hungry, Bai Hong immediately went to deal with the prey. After eating their fill, Ling Yan didn't want to stay there anymore, afraid that that pervert would suddenly appear and take advantage of her. The beast husbands naturally followed her wishes and packed their things to continue on their journey. In the depths of the river, a few meter-long fish suddenly exploded, as if something had burst through it from the inside. After Shalan was knocked into the water, his energy became chaotic, and he transformed into a cub. As a result, he was swallowed by this fish. It was also for this reason that he escaped from Mohan's clutches. Fortunately, the 8th-tier beast's body, though smaller, still had its defenses, so he wasn't eaten by a normal fish. Shalan's expression twisted a few times. He couldn't forget the look of shock on the little female's face when she saw his beast form. Am I that ugly? Floating with the current, Shalan, who was washed up on some beach, stared blankly at the sky. We're both cold-blooded beasts. Why does she only want that snake beast and not me? Just as Mohan had predicted, the beast didn't show up in the next few days. They had a rare few days of peace and tranquility in the beautiful mountains and rivers. Bai Hong's gentle voice rang out. We're almost at the Xiang tribe. Xiang? Are there really bears? Ling Yan wanted to laugh at the name Xiang tribe. Yes, and you've even met one, Bai Hong said, gently patting her back. The one who gave you the Wang beast honey. Ling Yan had a sudden realization. Then can we stay at the Xiang tribe for a few days to rest before we set off again? In the past few days, they had passed by several small tribes, but Bai Hong had never mentioned resting. As long as you want to go, we'll go. Besides, I know the Shang tribe's chief, Bai Hong said. The group did not delay. They arrived at the Xiang tribe's territory in one breath. When a high-tier beastman's presence was detected, the Xiang tribe's warriors all gathered around. Bai Hong went forward to negotiate. I am Bai Hong from the White Tiger tribe. My female and I would like to stay in your tribe for a few days. Is that my boy, Bai Hong? A loud voice exploded in Ling Yan's ears. It's me, Uncle Xiang Zheng. Bai Hong took 2 steps forward to greet him, just in time to protect his family behind him. Good. You finally have a female, unlike my stinky boy who no one wants. Xiongzheng didn't mind Bai Hong's actions. He had known Bai Hong for many years and knew that his boy had been highly vigilant since he was a child. Shang-Chi, go and settle Bai Hong's family. Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi. Shangzeng saw Shang-Chi staring blankly at the female and kicked him. Don't hit me, father. I know. Xiongqi nimbly dodged his father's attack and then led Bai Hong's group to a cave, settling them in. At this moment, it had started to rain outside. How long will we be staying here? Ling Yan asked, seeing that her beast husbands seemed to be preparing to clean up the cave. The first rain of the rainy season will last for a few days. We'll leave after the rain stops, Bai Hong replied gently. Outside the cave, the rain was falling steadily. The group sat around the bonfire, feeling quite cozy. At this moment, a few rustling sounds came from outside the cave. The beast husbands immediately became alert. Masters, I'm Xiangda. We've met before. The newcomer quickly announced his name. The cave was open, and Ling Yan saw the person outside at a glance. It was the familiar face who had traded for honey before. He was also with a female. The two of them inadvertently met eyes and then quickly looked away. He's so beautiful, Shushu thought to herself. Is there something you need? Bai Hong asked. We've come to thank you and your master's female, Xiangda said, and took out 2 large stone basins with a clatter. They were filled with honey. Ling Yan secretly clicked her tongue. The Shang tribe's unique skill of finding honey was legendary, but filling 2 large basins must have taken a lot of effort. Ask them to come in and talk, Ling Yan said, looking at the little female who wasn't saying anything. My name is Ling Yan. What's yours? She felt that she was already slow to warm up to people, but she never expected to find a little female who was even more socially anxious than herself. My name is Shushu, a soft voice came. Shushu looked up at Ling Yan, then looked down again. Thank you for the honey. Our family really needs it, so I won't refuse. But I won't take it for free. What do you want to trade for it? Ling Yan also lowered her voice to talk to Shushu. It's a gift for you. Shushu quickly said 3 words. Then I can't take it. Ling Yan felt that when she talked to this sweet girl, her own voice became a little sweeter unconsciously. Shushu was a little anxious. Help, she said, pulling on Xiongda. Ling Yan's female, this is a gift of thanks from Shushu. Your seasoning helped us a lot. Shushu had a poor appetite after she got pregnant, but with the seasoning in her food, she can eat more. Xiongda quickly explained. How about this? I don't have much seasoning left. I can trade some more with you, and I'll make up for the rest with other food. Ling Yan's attitude was very firm. Shushu was a little conflicted. If she didn't accept it, the Vanguang beast honey wouldn't be a gift. But if she did, it was clearly her own gift of thanks. Let's just consider it a gift we exchanged. It was nice to meet you, Ling Yan suggested with a smile. Shushu's eyes lit up, and she nodded heavily. She really liked this fragrant female. She wished she could be friends with her. Quote, this is some sweet water I made. Try it. Ling Yan handed her a cup of lemon honey water. At Shushu's side, the 2 females sat down around a small wooden table. Shushu took the cup and took a small sip. An indescribable floral scent mixed with the honey's sweetness rushed down her throat. This is so good, she said, and took another sip. So good. Yan Yan, you're amazing. Ling Yan was flattered, and her heart swelled with happiness. Girls really do understand the magic of sweet drinks. Unlike her beast husbands, who were like stubborn old bulls, even Chihua, who loved to eat, complained that her fruit tea was too sweet. When she was about to leave, Shushu's voice was soft and gentle. Yan Yan, can I come and play with you again? Of course, Ling Yan immediately replied. You're welcome anytime, Shushu. Shushu gave a sweet, cute smile, and with a sense of relief, she waved and left. Xiangda watched his little female's smiling face and smiled along. It was right to bring her away from the Shu tribe. She was so miserable before. The uneventful days passed quickly, and the 3-day continuous rain finally stopped. On this morning, Ling Yan was awakened from her sleep by the long-lost call of a bird. The rain has finally stopped. Ah, Heng, are we leaving? Ling Yan saw Bai Hong and the others packing their things. We'll pack first. We can leave tomorrow, Bai Hong replied, looking up. We're leaving tomorrow? Then I need to go see Shushu today. Yesterday, Xiongda had braved the heavy rain to tell Ling Yan that Shushu had given birth. The only person she was worried about was Shushu. After lunch, Ling Yan and Bai Hong went out. She had specially packed a few pieces of soft animal hide and some snacks and dried fruits, the former for the baby, the latter for S. Hushu, Yanyan, you're here! Just as she arrived at the entrance, she heard Shushu's voice. I came to see you. After she got to know her, Lingyan found that this girl's quiet demeanor was just a facade. In reality, she was quite talkative. How are you? Are you feeling better? Lingyan asked, holding Shushu's hand. Shushu's face was flushed. I'm fine. Xiangda prepared 6 crystal stones for me early this morning, so I recovered as soon as I gave birth. The two talked and laughed for a while before Lingyan finally said goodbye. We're leaving tomorrow, Shushu. We'll meet again. Shushu's eyes were a little red. Although Yanyan had said she would leave as soon as the rain stopped, this was her first good friend, and she couldn't bear to part with her. Then Yanyan, please be careful. We'll see you again in the future. Shushu forced a smile. Lingyan squeezed her hand. We definitely will. She handed the prepared animal hide package to Xiangda and looked at the baby before leaving. Walking on the road, Lingyan felt a little wistful. In life, you are destined to drift apart from many people. In modern times, with advanced communication, many friends lose touch once their lives no longer intersect. What's more, this was a world where communication was based on shouting. As she pondered, she unknowingly strayed from the original path. Her beast husbands saw that she was preoccupied and thought she wanted to walk alone, so they didn't interfere. By the time Lingyan came back to her senses, they had arrived at a huge banyan tree. The sun shone through the layers of leaves, and the gentle breeze made the leaves rustle, creating a symphony. The distant river was gradually becoming clearer, and the water rushed and churned, creating waves. Looking at the beautiful scenery in front of her, Lingyan suddenly couldn't move her legs. She lifted her foot, shook the mud off her shoes, and turned to her beast husbands. Let's have a picnic here today. The beast husbands nodded in agreement. Lin Chuan and Yingze went hunting, while Bai Heng and Mohan prepared the ingredients. Qihua wanted to go help, but Lingyan pulled him back. Come with me. Yanyan, what are you looking for? Qihua asked, seeing Lingyan with her butt sticking up, rummaging through the grass. I'm looking for mushrooms, she mumbled. It's weird. Why are there no fungi right after the rain? Mushrooms? Fungi? Qihua didn't understand, but seeing Lingyan constantly digging through the grass, he started digging with her. Yanyan, is this what you're looking for? Qihua peeled off a piece of bark, and underneath was a bright red fungus the size of a bowl. Lingyan's heart was filled with joy when she saw the red fungus. There really are mushrooms! But this one looks too poisonous, right? Isn't there a saying, red and red, white and white, eat them both, lie on a board? Lingyan went closer to examine it. I can't judge the things of this world with my own common sense. It was edible and delicious. I almost missed it. Lingyan carefully broke off the mushroom and handed it to Qihua to roast. Qihua, can you sense if plants are poisonous? Qihua was a witch doctor and a wood-type ability user. Of course, Qihua replied. That's great, Lingyan said, praising him and patting his arm. Then let's look for them together. There should be other kinds of mushrooms besides the one I just found, as long as they're not poisonous. Then let's split up and see who can find more mushrooms. Qihua was fired up with fighting spirit. Then Yanyan, you have to try your best. I won't go easy on you. The two of them started looking for mushrooms while crouching. Lingyan was even humming a song. Red and red, white and white, lie on a board together. Unknowingly, they had almost scoured the entire forest. Lingyan then heard footsteps nearby. Qihua had already moved to protect her. In a moment, 2 males appeared in front of them. It was Xiongzheng, the leader of this young tribe, whom they had met before, and the already familiar Yangqi. Xiongqi was still staring at Lingyan blankly. Little female, Yanyan, some of these mushrooms can't be eaten. You have to be careful to distinguish them. Xingzheng looked at the various mushrooms in Lingyan's hands and couldn't help but remind her. In previous years, there were females in the tribe who ate wild mushrooms and then insisted they could fly, and stood on a cliff to perform by falling to their deaths. There were quite a few of them. Thank you, Uncle Xiongzheng. We'll be careful, Lingyan replied with a smile. Xiongzheng's kind tone made Lingyan unconsciously show him respect. Just as they were about to leave, Xiongqi had already darted over to Qihua. Little female, Yanyan, are you looking for mushrooms? Over on that shady hillside, there are tons of them. I'll take you there. He looked at Ling Yan expectantly. Ling Yan didn't really want to interact with Shang-Chi. Since I'm not going to accept him, I should keep my distance from the beginning. Thank you, but we can find it ourselves, she said, and left with Chiwa. Shang-Chi looked back at his father. Father, do I have no chance at all? Qiong-Zhang slapped Xiong-Chi. It's because you're useless. She just doesn't like you. But I liked her the first time I saw her. Xiong-Chi felt like his heart was shattered. Ling Yan and Qihua couldn't care less about the heartbroken Xiong-Chi. They were already dazzled by the colorful array of mushrooms in front of them. The mushrooms seemed to be waving at Ling Yan. Come, come, eat me! After picking for a long time, the two of them returned to their resting spot, feeling satisfied. Everyone was about to sit down by the bonfire to eat the meat that Beihang had just roasted. At that moment, Shang-Chi appeared from out of nowhere. He had decided to be brave for love. Female Ling Yan, I would like to formally introduce myself. My name is Xiong-Chi. I have fire-type abilities, and I am the youngest 7th-tier beastman in the Xiong tribe. I want to be your male. After saying this, Xiong-Chi clenched his fists nervously, staring intently at Ling Yan, waiting for the final verdict. I'm sorry, I don't like you, and I don't want you to be my male, Ling Yan said bluntly. Xiong-Chi felt like it was pouring rain in his world. He knew he should turn and leave in a dignified and carefree manner, but he was in too deep. I challenge you, Xiong-Chi said to Ling Yan's mates. While everyone was still processing what he said, Xiong-Chi was already picked up by Mohan's tail and thrown out. What are you looking at me for? Ayan is hungry, Mohan said calmly, flicking his tail. Does she hate me that much? Why? Why? The female lead was scared unconscious by Shallan's beast form, which made him instantly break down. Shallan's heart felt like it was being slowly peeled open, sprinkled with a bottle of soy sauce, and then sewn back up, only to be torn open again and smeared with a bag of spicy bean paste. The pain was not a clean cut, but a bottomless, silent despair, like sinking into the bottom of the sea, struggling but unable to float back up. He was struck by Mohan's thunder ability and fell into the water. Shallan closed his eyes, and for a moment, he felt that dying like this wasn't so bad. A silent snow began to fall on his heart, one snowflake at a time, very light but bone chillingly cold, as if spring would never come again. The next morning, Ling Yan woke up from her sleep and stretched. The departure had already been set. The beast husbands were all prepared, waiting for Ling Yan to finish getting ready before they set off. Ling Yan finished washing up, sat on Baihang's tiger back, and left the Xiang tribe. In the afternoon, the group rested by a river. Yingze made a gesture of warning, and the other beasts immediately guarded the riverbank. Baihang and Mohan stood in the front. A few moments later, a dozen or so beastmen, who were originally far away, swam closer and quickly surrounded them. The leader was a lean snake beastman. He had intelligent eyes and a fierce expression. His entire appearance indicated his status as a fallen beast. Among the dozen or so beastmen following him, more than half were fallen beasts, whose beast marks had been removed, and the rest were cold-blooded beasts, all with malicious looks in their eyes. This snake beast was at the same 8th tier as Mohan, and there were also 2 7th-tier beasts. Even if the beasts whose marks had been removed were of a high tier, their combat power wasn't that great. Mohan alone could handle 10 of them. Baihang calculated in his mind. At this moment, the snake beast spoke. We're looking for a scorpion beast. Have you seen him? A scorpion beast? Baihang and Mohan looked at each other and instantly thought of the stray beast that Mohan had killed that day. No, we haven't, Baihang replied. Then, have you seen an 8th-tier scorpion beast named Sheiyu? The snake beastman's voice was as cold as ice. Mohan remained silent, his eyes fixed on the snake beastman in front of him, as if to say, if you dare to say one more word, I'll deal with your boss. Just deal with them, what are you waiting for? A follower next to him was eager to fight. Just go for it. Sheiyu didn't want to get into a conflict with these beasts right now. If we really fight, we might not have the advantage, and I have more important things to do. The group of fallen beasts came and went quickly. It wasn't until they had completely disappeared that everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Ling Yan was so tense she didn't dare to breathe. Seeing the danger had passed, she let out a small sigh, but when she lowered her head, she was caught off guard by a human face in the water. Ling Yan felt a chill rush from her heels straight to the top of her head. Before she could even scream, she was pulled into the water. Yingze, who was next to her, immediately reached out to grab her, but only caught a piece of her clothing. Lingyan was rapidly pulled downward by something. The familiar feeling of suffocation came over her again. She was even dazed, thinking to herself, "Am I going back to reality? It seems I'm a little reluctant to leave. What should I do?" At this moment, Lingyan was pulled out of the water. She couldn't help but cough a few times. "Let's go," Shalan said, grabbing Lingyan's wrist. "It's you again, you dead scorpion. What did you do to me?" Lingyan kept struggling and shouting, "You're too noisy. I'll sting you with my tail stinger. Don't worry, it's not poisonous, it'll just make you sleep for a while." Then the tip of the stinger went directly into Lingyan's hand. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds passed. Linane and Shalan stared at each other. "Why aren't you unconscious?" Shalan grabbed Lingyan's right hand to check. The smoky blue snake beast print was clearly visible. "Ha ha ha," he suddenly burst into laughter. "Only when a female of the Shuang snake tribe is truly in love can she gain the ability to be immune to all kinds of poisons. Ha ha ha. You actually really like that snake beast. What's so good about him?" Shalan had originally thought that Mohan was accepted because of his 8th tier strength, but he never expected it to be true acceptance. A surge of anger almost consumed him. He could no longer tell if he was angry that Lingyan didn't want him, or if he was angry that Mohan was loved. Lingyan looked at this beast who was sneering one moment, gritting his teeth the next, changing his expression 800 times a minute, and couldn't help but shrink into a corner. Lingyan's retreating movement angered Shalan again. He felt a blur in front of his eyes, and then fell into a state of unconsciousness. When he woke up again, he found himself lying in a canyon covered with small blue and white flowers. Shalan was sitting next to him, watching him quietly. When their eyes met, Lingyan screamed. "Don't scream! It's so annoying!" Shalan said coldly. Seeing that he wasn't making any further moves, Lingyan also shut up and quietly looked around. The air was filled with a faint floral scent, and a cool breeze blew. Since she was all wet, she couldn't help but shiver. "Eat this crystal stone," Shalan said, and held the crystal stone to her mouth. Lingyan was afraid it was a trap and refused to open her mouth. The next second, her cheeks were pinched, and the crystal was forcibly put into her mouth. The crystal transformed into energy and instantly dispelled all of Lingyan's discomfort. She finally felt a little better. "Since you're fine, let's become mates." Shalan's cold voice rang out. "What did you just say?" Lingyan suspected she had misheard. "I said, let's be mates." Shalan gave a slight smile, his tone casual, but his stiff posture betrayed his nervousness. Lingyan was so angry she almost laughed. "Becoming mates? It seems like the male gets the worst end of the deal. Aren't you afraid I'll scratch your beast print?" "If I die, I die. Do you think I'm afraid?" Shalan's voice was teasing, but the end of his words trembled slightly. Lingyan didn't catch the hidden meaning, only thinking that this beast was a dangerous time bomb. "I refuse." She pulled her collar tightly and shrank back. Shalan stopped talking nonsense and moved closer, lowering his head to kiss her. Just then, a loud slap landed on Shalan's face. A trickle of blood oozed from the corner of his mouth. He wiped it away, not caring, and turned to stare at Lingyan, his eyes looking as if he wanted to devour her alive. "Why? Why did you want that snake beast and not me?" Lingyan was so scared that she began to cry uncontrollably. "Mohan, he doesn't yell at me, doesn't scold me, doesn't grab me, doesn't knock me out. The first time you saw me, you wanted to kill me, and now you want to force me. You're so bad." Full of grievances, she threw her fear to the back of her mind, speaking as fast as a machine gun. Lingyan cried even harder. Shalan froze on the spot. Am I really that bad of a beast? At first, he just wanted to know why the snake beast was wanted by someone. Later, when he saw how happy their family was, he was just envious. He didn't know how to woo a female, and no one had ever taught him. He was born a wanderer, without the ability to fight back, a slave who was bullied and beaten, his prey almost always stolen. Just as he gained a little power, he was forced by a bunch of bastards to give up his tail stinger. His world was one of survival, slaughter, and plunder. "Don't cry," Shalan said, raising his hand to wipe the tears from her face, but she dodged him. His hand hung in midair. "Am I really that bad of a beast?" Lingyan didn't answer. She cried even harder until there were no more tears, and then she started to hiccup. "Stop crying. Your crying is really annoying." Shallan took a stone jar of honey from his interspatial space and placed it next to Lingyan. "Don't you love to eat wang beast honey?" Lingyan was stunned. She hiccuped and asked, "How do you know? Are you stalking me? Are you going to eat it or not? If not, I'm throwing it away." Shallan became impatient again. Quote, "Did you steal it?" she asked carefully. "Yes, I stole it. I killed a whole nest of bears." Shallan felt that he might not actually want to be her mate that badly. Not a single word from her mouth was what he wanted to hear. "Hey, look here, this is the wang beast honey that I traded for." Lingyan was half skeptical, but she stopped crying. For now, her personal safety seemed to be temporarily guaranteed. All she had to do was stall for some time and wait for her beast husbands to come and rescue her. Shallan seemed to have seen through her thoughts. He was about to tell her that this was Fangling Valley, and once those males entered, their judgment would be disturbed, and even the beast eagles would be useless. But before he could speak, a thunderball struck. Shallan immediately hugged Lingyan and dodged it. The thunderball landed on a tree not far away, making a loud crashing sound. The jar of honey on the ground was also knocked over by the impact. Actually, Shallan didn't have to dodge. Mohan's attack was measured. "See? Your husband wants to kill you," Shallan took the opportunity to say to Lingyan loudly. Mohan, who was about to charge forward, paused for a moment. That's not what I meant, he thought. But for a moment, he had indeed been blinded by anger. It was in this moment of Mohan's hesitation that Shallan released a cloud of smoke and escaped with Lingyan. "You have no shame!" Lingyan took a deep breath. She knew he was deliberately provoking Mohan. Mohan was naturally sensitive, and this might cause him to lose control. "What's a little shame worth?" Shallan said with contempt. He had survived by crawling and fighting his way to the top. If he had cared about his reputation, he would have died a long time ago. Shallan fled, knowing in his heart that he couldn't run far with Lingyan, but he just couldn't let go of the female in his arms who had been so kind to him. He couldn't explain why, but he just felt very comfortable when she was by his side. "Stop! There's a cliff ahead!" Linchuan's terrified voice came from the sky. He was flying high and could see far. Behind the honey flowers and plants, there was a bottomless ravine. The beasts on the ground would have a hard time noticing the deep abyss hidden here. Shallan immediately stopped, and the momentum carried the two of them a few more steps forward. He peeked over the edge, and the cliff was only 3 or 4 meters in front of them. Lingyan took a sharp breath. That was close. She didn't know what would happen if a beast fell, but she knew that if she fell, she would be turned into meat paste. Her beast husbands gathered around, afraid that Shallan would throw Lingyan off the cliff. Baihong spoke up to appease him. "Let's talk this out. You're still young. Don't go down this path. Think about your family." "I have no family." "Think about your friends." "I have no friends." "Don't ask," Baihong thought. "He definitely has no female either." "We'll agree to whatever you want, just don't hurt her." "Whatever I want," Shallan laughed crazily. "Either he scratches that snake's beast print, or that snake digs out his gall." Shallan said these vicious words with a light-hearted tone. "In your dreams," Baihong roared. Mohan was about to step forward, but Baihong stopped him. "The situation hasn't reached that point yet," Lingyan struggled. "Mohan, if you dare to dig it out, I'd rather jump down myself." Then she bit down hard on Shallan's hand. Blood flowed down his wrist, but he didn't seem to feel it. His hand didn't move an inch. "Why are you so agitated? He won't die if he digs out his gall. His power will just slowly decrease until he becomes useless." Lingyan didn't understand why these beasts had such deep malice towards Mohan. She desperately shook her head at Mohan, signaling for him not to do anything foolish. The atmosphere was at a stalemate, but Shallan wouldn't give them a chance to take advantage of the situation. He made a motion as if to push Lingyan off the cliff. "Don't move! Don't dig!" Mohan rushed forward, pushing Baihong's arm away. Shallan was stunned. Did he want to see him dig out his snake gall? His own fake stinger had been dug out, and he deeply understood the despair of constantly losing one's power. He just wanted to see if this snake beast was truly that important in the female's heart. "Perfect!" Shallan grunted, looking down at the dagger that was viciously stabbed into his waist. Lingyan had gotten a dagger from somewhere, and, taking advantage of Shallan's distraction, had plunged it into his waist. She was so flustered that she even forgot to pull the dagger out. In the instant Shallan was distracted, Mohan seized the opportunity and broke his arm. Baihong stepped forward and helped him pin Shallan to the ground. Lingyan was wrapped around the waist by Chihuahua's vines and pulled into his arms. Yanyan, little fox. Chihuahua's voice trembled, and even his arms were shaking. I'm okay, Lingyan said, collecting herself and comforting him. She glanced over at Mohan and the others. Mohan had given her a dagger with snake venom on it for self-defense, and she hadn't expected it to come in handy. Although Shallan could resist some of the venom, Mohan's venom could suppress all poisons. Under the effect of the poison, Shallan felt powerless and knelt on the ground. His gaze was fixed on Lingyan, fantasizing that she might have a hint of pity for him. The unexpected eye contact made Lingyan feel a mix of emotions. Such a sad and desperate look appeared on the face of a person who wanted to kill her and her mate. Actually, if I think about it, he didn't really hurt me. Yanyan, what should we do with him? Baihang interrupted the staring contest. Lingyan came back to her senses. How could I feel pity for this beast? Wasn't I pitiful for being targeted and kidnapped? Wasn't Mohan pitiful for being threatened by him? You decide, Lingyan said, turning her head. Shallan's hope of a pity party was dashed, and his expression instantly changed. My name is Shallan, he shouted at Lingyan's back. He activated a beast box he had prepared in his palm, and the energy burst forth, breaking his restraints. The moment Lingyan turned her head, she saw him fall straight into the deep valley. Seeing her look back at him, Shallan gave a crooked smile and threw his real stinger directly at Lingyan. Don't chase him! Seeing that her beast husbands intended to chase him down the ravine, Lingyan stopped them. What if there are other dangers down there? What is this? Lingyan asked, pointing at the glowing object on the ground. It's that scorpion beast's tail stinger. Mohan picked it up and looked at it. The stinger emanated the aura of a 7th tier beast, but the beast was already an 8th tier. Looks like he pulled it out a long time ago. Yanyan, do you want to keep it with you? Mohan asked. This needle is not only poisonous, but it also has a deterrent effect on wild beasts and low-tier beasts. No, let's not. What if his enemies come looking for him by following the aura of the stinger? Lingyan remembered that the fiery-looking hand that had asked about Shallan earlier was not a kind one. Put it in your interspatial space. She felt it was better not to leave this thing lying around, lest someone pick it up and use it for bad deeds, and then frame them. Mohan nodded and put the real stinger into his interspatial space. Only, he wasn't afraid of its poison. The family quickly returned to the original small river. After all the commotion, Lingyan was already exhausted and fell asleep in the tree cave. Lingyan was trying hard to wipe the blood off her hand, but no matter how hard she tried, it wouldn't come off. The bloodstains were getting more and more numerous. She looked down and saw Shallan cutting her wrist. The pool of water was filled with blood. Lingyan woke up with a scream. Chihua quickly came over to comfort her. Yanyan, did you have a nightmare? Yanyan, why don't we rest here for a day? Baihang walked into the tree cave and knelt in front of her. Lingyan shook her head. This place isn't good. Let's leave quickly. She sat on Lin Chuan's back. When they passed over Fangling Valley, a winding ravine appeared, with a bottomless abyss in the middle. Just looking at it was unnerving. Lingyan stared at the ravine for a while and then turned her head. Maybe he's still down there, maybe he's left, maybe he's already dead. But what does that have to do with me? Lingyan put the matter out of her mind. Shallan, who was briefly on her mind, had transformed into a cub and drifted along the river at the bottom of the valley all night. At this moment, he was caught on a rock in the shallows, letting the water wash over him. It's a little chilly. Shallan moved his body and crawled behind the rock, planning to sleep for a while. But as soon as he closed his eyes, he heard the chirping of voices around him. Duo ya, don't get too close to the water's edge. Be careful not to slip. Yanji was always by her side, protecting her. I know, I'm just looking. Yanyan makes the best spiny fish. Duo ya craned her neck to look into the river. You want to eat spiny fish? I'll catch some and make it for you. Yanji seized the opportunity to show off. Quote, your cooking is terrible, I'm not eating it. Duo ya refused bluntly. Yanji felt like he had been stabbed. He had learned from Baihang, and Duo ya used to eat his food just fine. Ever since she got pregnant, she always said his food was terrible. I wonder where Yanyan is now. Yanji, when we get to Lingdong City, let's prepare a beast cave for her. What if she comes? Duo ya said, with her chubby cheeks lost in thought. Maybe Yanyan thinks the sea is too far and changed her route halfway. Quote, okay then. After we cross this river, it's not far from Lingdong City. We'll prepare a beast cave for female Lingnan then. Yanji said, going along with her words. Shalon, who was so annoyed by the conversation that he almost left, immediately held back when he heard the name Lingyan. She's going to Lingdong City. Shalon caught the key point. He had to go find her again. He wanted to ask her again if she would take him as her mate. If she still refused, he would ask again next time. Shalon moved his tail, wanting to transform into his human form. He wanted to learn how to take care of a female, and this female happened to know him. But Mohan's venom was suppressing him, keeping him stuck in his cub form. Damn it! Shalon gritted his teeth. It's all Mohan's fault. Shalon had forgotten who stabbed him in the waist and put all the blame on Mohan.